Compared to the secular humanist and cosmic humanist worldviews, the Marxist-Leninist worldview is very well developed. Its theology is atheism, its philosophy dialectical materialism, and its ethics are called proletariat morality. Its biology is based on Darwinian punctuated evolution, its psychology on monistic Pavlovian behaviorism, and its sociology calls for the abolition of the home, church, and state. Marxist-Leninists hold to positive law. They base their politics on a new world order. Their economics are socialism, and their view of history is called historical materialism. Fyodor Dostoevsky, author of the classic Russian novels Crime and Punishment and the brothers Karamazov, recognized the basic flaw of Marxism many years ago. Dostoevsky: "The problem of communism is not an economic problem. The problem of communism is the problem of atheism." Atheism lies at the heart of the Marxist-Leninist worldview. Karl Marx quickly shed his religious upbringing while studying philosophy at the University of Berlin. In a circle of radical young revolutionaries that included Friedrich Engels, Marx, along with the entire group, embraced atheism. Marx: "It is clear as the sun and evident as the day that there is no God, and still more that there can be no God." Marx was an atheist before his socialistic beliefs were finally formed. His work in the field of philosophy emphasized his hatred of all the gods. Later, he proclaimed that belief in God was a narcotic. Marx's atheism shaped his communist theory. He believed that religion is merely an antidepressant for the oppressed working class. Marx: "Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the sentiment of a heartless world. It is the opium of the people." Marx's friend and fellow atheist Engels agreed. "We want to sweep away everything that claims to be supernatural and superhuman, for the root of all untruth and lying is the pretension of the human and the natural to be superhuman and supernatural." Years later, Lenin agreed with the sentiments of Marx and Engels. The philosophical basis of Marxism is absolutely atheistic and positively hostile to all religion. Every religious idea, every idea of God, even flirting with the idea of God, is unutterable vileness.
Marxism begins with the concept that there is no God. Obviously that paints or portrays the human being in a whole different light from one who believes that man is created in the image of God.
If you don't believe in God, then you need to fill the void with some kind of explanation. And leftism provides the explanation, the idea of redemption, and the meaningfulness of everybody's life who ascribes to it, because they are going to be the creators of the true human history of paradise, of a world in which we are returned to our authentic selves. It has all the power that a religion does.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sowing and Reaping YouTube channel. I was going to play another video, but there's no need to do that. I actually want to get right into this. First and foremost, hope everybody had a great day. Um, Brother Veckel might come in a little bit later. I sent him the link. He said he was going to come in, but Veckel has a family, so I have to respect that. He might not be able to make it tonight. Von Helton has a family too, and he was given the link too, and said he was interested in coming into the show. So what I did was I made the link public. If somebody hears something that they disagree with and feels like they need to come in and speak out against it, the link is in the live chat. If you don't want to come in here, that's just fine, because I got some information that I want to go over, and I want to go over, how we Christians feel about, this whole idea of communism. Now, before I did this show, there were a few people that said that they were surprised that as a Christian that I would not be supporting the idea of communism, and I don't. There's a lot of us that don't support the idea of communism, and I think the reason why a lot of people think that we support communism is because of what they see in the Book of Acts. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Is I want to just try to educate some of the people in the audience that don't know nothing about this topic, going over some basic definitions and going over some things about what communism actually is, and then talking about the Christian worldview in opposition to communism. Because believe it or not, the Christian worldview does not agree, or rather, most of us Christians don't agree with a communistic society for obvious reasons. But there are some not so obvious reasons that needs to be talked about, so we can all get on the same page. And again, the link is going to be in the live chat. Choose to come in, that's you. If you choose not to, that's great. I'm gonna try to keep this under an hour. I will try if nobody else comes in here, but if not, then I'm gonna try to just try to go through this as quickly as possible. So first of all, people got to understand something. Not all of us agree on what the definition of on what the definition of atheism is. We believe that communism is predominantly for that ism, for the reasons that you heard about in the intro of this video. There is no room for God in a communistic society except the government. We'll get into the reason why I'm saying that. Atheists will tell you that they are a group of people that lack a belief in a God. The lack of belief in a God, historically speaking, the definition has been that they don't believe in any God, or they don't believe in God or any other gods. This is the definition that they will give you. I personally believe that the atheists are only talking about the Abrahamic faiths, or very specifically Christianity. So when you hear them talking about religion and having a problem with religion, it's always Christianity or one of the Abrahamic faiths. If you have a non-Abrahamic faith, they're extremely tolerant of your beliefs and don't have a problem with you practicing your beliefs, since they believe those beliefs are secular to begin with. You'll be surprised at how many times the atheist community the atheists in general, will defend the Roman Catholic Church. And that's predominantly because I believe they fit the real definition of atheism, and that is an anti-Protestant Reformation group designed to try to destroy the church. They believe, just like the Jesuits do. They're literally teaching them how to be atheist. So there's the historical definition of atheism, and then there's the definition that I use and some other people, because a lot of us are starting to come to an understanding that they have a script, and these people are not as genuine about evidence as they make themselves out to be. Now, there's some people out there that disagree with me. I don't speak for all Christians when I'm talking about this, but I challenge any of them to show me why I'm wrong about them being an anti-Protestant Reformation movement designed to destroy the church. Anybody, Christian or non-Christian, I want to hear your intelligent answer to this. So let's get into this here. Let me make sure that all of you guys can hear me and see me. Okay, there we go right there. All right. Yes, I did say I hate rich people, Aries 106. I said that I'm not a big fan of people who are rich. I said that, and there's video proof of me saying that. I'm just not a fan of it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to support communism, that's for sure. So anyway, perhaps you think I'm wrong. Maybe I'm uneducated about something. Click on the link and come in here. So anyway, what is communism? The communists, that's the wrong paper. Hold on. Communism is a political theory derived from Karl Marx, advocating class war and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person works and is paid according to their abilities and needs. And I mean, ideally speaking, that sounds great. but that's not usually how these societies work. We'll get to that a little bit later. And I'll read this again. It says a political theory derived from Karl Marx, advocating class war and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned, meaning there will not be any, you will not be able to own private property. You will never be able to say this house is yours. You won't be able to say that this church is yours. You won't be able to say that this building is yours. Rather, it will be owned by the public. Okay? It will be owned by the government, if you want me to be more specific. Because they lie and try to say that the regular people, no, the government's going to own it. And each person works and is paid according to their abilities and needs. Historically speaking, I just don't agree with that, especially when we're talking about Russia and how the peasants were treated by Joseph Stalin. Many of these peasants were basically working for very little grain. A lot of them were starved to death, and they were treated like slaves. I personally believe that communism leads to slavery. Okay, it's going to be kind of difficult for people to argue against that when they're saying that that everything should be publicly owned and we shouldn't own anything. All right. I believe that communism, and I said this again, it enslaves its people, not set them free. There is no liberation in communism unless you want to be owned by the government. Communist countries always lead to dictatorships. They believe that these dictatorships is the only way to get anything done, and that the dictator is going to do the right thing by the people. And we know, historically speaking, that ain't the case. Okay. And then it always ends up in people getting slaughtered by the millions. Okay. A lot of people end up dead because of communism. In fact, people like what was his name? Lenin promoted the idea of people revolting against the government in order to get a communistic country. You know what I mean? They advocated for the revolting and just rebelling against the government in order to get a communistic nation. Now, I can understand if you don't like the present form of government that you have, but I don't know about these revolutions, since so many people end up dying and a lot of damage and a lot of harm ends up coming before you get to that point. Another thing about communism I'm not that crazy about, but this is what they do. They have a certain attitude about religion. We're going to get to that a little bit later. What I want to do is I want to talk about these 10 planks of communism. Some people have referred to this as the 10 commandments of communism, or the 10 statements about communism. You can find this in the Communistic Manifesto, I believe. But I took the liberty to write all of these down, and I'm going to read these. I'm not going to elaborate on them right now. We're going to go over them a little bit later. Okay, first of all, number 1, the abolition of property in land and the application of all rents of land to public purpose. In other words, they want to get rid of private property. As a lot of you know, for this whole great reset that they want to do, they're claiming that you will own nothing and you will be happy. Okay. Now, I'm not going to call us stupid about what's going on in the world, primarily because most of our schools today are not teaching us about communism. They're not teaching us about Marxism. In the average high school that you go to, the majority of those students in there do not know what Marxism is, do not know what communism is, have no idea what capitalism is. They have no idea what the different systems of governments are and how they benefit society. I barely know that much about all these different systems of government, and I'm not ashamed to say that, because I know most people who claim they know is going to go and Google and try to act like an expert while hiding their face on camera, acting like we know that they're not on Google. But the majority of the people in this country do not even know what communism is, or what it stands for, and what it will do to your society if your country becomes a communistic country. Historically speaking, the United States has always been against communism, but unfortunately, in the last 2 or 3 decades, America has been pushing up 2 or 3 decades, maybe the last 4 decades. No, the last 2 or 3 decades, I would say. This country has been moving us closer and closer and closer to being more of a communistic country and a dictatorship. You know what I mean? We still actually think our votes matter. So anyway, number 2, a heavy progressive and gradual income tax. I don't need to say nothing about that. The abolition of all rights of inheritance, the confiscation of property of all immigrants and rebels, the centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of the national bank with the state capital and an exclusive monopoly. The centralization of the means of communication and transport in the hands of the state. Number 7, the extension of factories and instruments of productions owned by the state. The bringing into cultivation of wastelands and the improvement of the soil generally in accordance with a common plan. Number 8, equal liability of all labor, establishment of industrial armies, especially for agriculture. Number 9, the combination of agriculture with manufacturing industries, the gradual abolition of the distinction between town and country by a more equitable distribution of the population over the country. And number 10, free education for all children in public schools, abolition of children's factory labor in its present form, combination of education with industrial production. So these are supposedly the 10 planks of communism and what communism is going to stand on. But we also know that communism is also going to be based upon, as far as this philosophy goes, it's going to be based on Darwinian evolution and is going to be based on atheism. In fact, atheism is what's going to be pushed in a communistic country. It will not be Christianity. It will not be Islam. It will not be Judaism. It will not be Satanism. It will not be any of these religions that believe in a deity, because their goal is to make the government so big that you recognize the government as God. They want to try to create a utopia here on this earth by trying to say that we're just going to share all of our wealth with everybody and we're just going to come together and go kumbaya, my lord, when in reality, the people, Karl Marx, when he came up with all of this stuff, and when Lenin was thinking about all of this, they didn't think about how greedy human beings actually are. And they didn't think about the fact that if you give one person that kind of power, they're going to do some horrible things to the people in that particular country. Okay? I'm going to read something here, and then I'm going to go to my phone, and I'm going to read something that I actually sent to Veckel. I sent to my boss by accident and a few other people regarding communism's attitude regarding religion. But I'll start here. The communistic government targeted religions based on the state interests, and while most organized religions were never outlawed, religious property, was confiscated. Believers were harassed. Their property was confiscated. Believers were harassed, and religion was ridiculed, while atheism was propagated in schools. Does that sound familiar to anybody? So before anybody who is an atheist try to say, oh, I don't support communism, and yet you're doing all of these things, please understand, you ain't pulling the wool over nobody's eyes over here. We see what's going on here. We know what it is that you want. You want a dictatorship here in the United States. You want to see the destruction of the United States Constitution. You want the Bill of Rights to be gone. You want to get rid of capitalism. And what you want to do is you want to try to distribute wealth out evenly. And people are going to get paid based on their talents. Even if another person works harder than you, you're still going to get paid the same thing. And while the government has all this power, the government isn't going to try to hurt you, reduce the population, or do any of those things. You know. But anyway, let's go to further on how they look at religion so that people can understand this here. And don't forget, the link is in the live chat. I'll put the link there again if it's not there, so don't worry about it. What I want people to do is just get the idea of what this is all about at the end of the day. I was going to screen share and show a video, but, you know, too many people criticize me when I go to the experts. So I'm just going to try to explain this myself. You know what I mean? That'll teach them to let me just let the experts talk. All right? So I did a very interesting experiment with some friends that I had, and I asked them, I said, do you know what the Soviet Union is? Do you know how the Soviet Union got started? Do you understand how many revolutions happened in order for them to get the Soviet Union? Do you understand what Joseph Stalin done? Because one of the things that the Hebrew Israelites will constantly say on the internet is that the white man is the worst person that ever existed, and I disagree with that. I do not believe that white people are the worst people that's ever existed. I'm educated enough to understand what the Chinese have done, what the Japanese have done. I'm smart enough to know what people in India do to their own people. and as far as why they're so impoverished, I understand what's going on in Africa. The majority of the leadership in Jamaica is black, so you can't blame white people for the poverty that's going on over there per se. Um, um, then you got Russia's history. You know what I mean? You got Europe's history. So if you get educated about Russia and you get educated, daily, you don't have to pick up all this information at one time. Try to get educated about their laws, how they went about doing things, and you'll start understanding the different people groups and how wicked some of these people really were that existed back then. Okay, and I know a lot of the people here today are going to be focusing on views. They're going to be focusing on how many people are watching and whatnot. But for the people that are here for the conversation, and you have a disagreement with me and you don't want to come in here, just go in the live chat and type in your question, and I will try to get to it later. I don't care about the views. If I cared about views, I'm on the wrong channel. Okay, so the bottom line is, at the end of the day, I just want to get this out there and let people know what the Christian worldview is in opposition to these communistic countries. And again, I see a Rebuke and Reprove watching, or Jesus is Lord's watching, some other people. The link is in the live chat if you want to come in here and express your opinion. Again, you don't have to agree with me. You can come in here and directly say, gee, man, I disagree with you, and this is why, and this is what I believe, and then that's it if you want. But let's, if you don't, then just keep listening. All right? So I'm going to read something here that I found very disturbing, because it was like reading my modern day newspaper. It was like I was experiencing this myself here on social media. It was like I was going through this like myself. And a lot of atheists got to understand something here, okay? We all like to laugh, and we all like to have fun, and we all like to, get our jollies off and whatnot. I joke around. I poke fun at people. You know what I mean? But if you do it to the point that you don't show any restraint, and you're not intellectually honest with people on why you're doing the things that you're doing, what's going to end up happening is people are going to look at your group and then start looking at everybody else out there that affiliates with you as doing the very same things. And that's not my fault. That's your fault. It's your fault because you didn't think long enough to be able to think this way. Because when people listen to me, somebody's going to make the mistake and think all Christians are like this. When I get angry and I blow up, actually, a lot of Christians do get mad and they blow up. They get it off their chest. But that's neither here nor there. You're going to make that mistake. So that's not my fault that you guys don't think about this. You don't think about image. The same medium that catches the church is the same medium that's watching what you're doing. Remember that. All right. So I want to read something here. And by the way, when people talk about state atheism, they're talking about a secular government. They just change the words around so that they don't got to be affiliated with what happened in the past. All right. And I love how little by little they're showing everybody that this is what they believe. Okay. I was going to go into the, let me just read this whole thing here. Okay. So my source is going to be the religion in the Soviet Union. This is out of Wikipedia. So everybody can see that. I don't know if everybody can see that there. All right. But it's religion in the Soviet Union in Wikipedia. So if you want to know what I'm reading, that is what I'm reading right now. All right. There are better sources that basically say the same thing, but in more detail. You can go on YouTube. You can go on Google. You can actually type in that topic and go to various different sites that pretty much are going to say the same thing. The Soviet Union was established by the Bolsheviks in 1922 in place of the Russian Empire. At the time of the 1917 revolution, the Russian Orthodox Church was deeply integrated into the autocratic state, enjoying official status. This was a significant factor that contributed to the Bolshevik attitude to religion and the steps they took to control it. Thus, the USSR became the first state to have as one objective of its official ideology the elimination of existing religion and the prevention of future implementing of religious beliefs with the goal of establishing state atheism. Okay, for those of you who are Christians that are watching this, how many times have you been in a room with an atheist and you felt like they was promoting state atheism? Every time they say that our government is secular, what they're basically trying to tell us is our government is atheistic in its policies. That is not true. If you understand paganism, if you understand these other religions like Satanism, Luciferianism, okay, it's all over DC, for crying out loud. If a person's actually got their eyes open and they're paying attention. An atheist will look at the Washington Monument, for example, and see a big rock. Okay? The person in office knows that they're worshiping a particular deity because of the Washington Monument. Okay? That's the difference between information, a person who's informed and a person who's not informed. All right? Under the doctrine of state atheism in the Soviet Union, there was a government-sponsored program of conversion to atheism. Listen to how they did this, okay? Conducted by communists. The communist government targeted religions based on state interests, and while most organized religions were never outlawed, that's one thing they claim. Well, we don't want to see religion go away. It was never outlawed. Religious property was confiscated. Obviously, you know, the 10 planks of communism. You're not allowed to have any private property. Religious property was confiscated. Believers were harassed, and religion ridiculed, while atheism was propagated in schools. Let me say this again, okay? Let me read this again so that you guys can get this. The communist government targeted religions based on state interests, and while most organized religions were never outlawed, religious property was confiscated. So these people were persecuted. They had their stuff stolen from them. Believers were harassed. Okay, they were called names. You couldn't just walk out in the street, say I'm a Christian, and think everything was going to be hunky-dory, lovey-dovey. Not in the society that they created. And religion was ridiculed while atheism was propagated in schools. Does that sound familiar? We don't want God in our schools. We don't want prayer in our schools. We don't want Jesus being taught. And the way we're going to get them is by bringing up all these other religions, saying when they're going to get the right. When I went to school, if somebody wanted to pray to Satan, that was their own personal business. Somebody was a Muslim and they wanted to pray 5 times a day, that was their personal business. All right? But the way they want to do it, they want atheism to be propagated because they look at atheism as not being a religion. It's a philosophy to a lot of them. And they want that taught to the children because, you know, and that's why they're constantly pushing science all the time, right? In 1925, the government founded the League of Militant Atheists. Listen to this. In 1925, the government founded the League of Militant Atheists. It's like, what the? To intensify the persecution. Accordingly, and I'm not making this up, it's right there. I am not making this up. I am not making this up, all right? In 1925, the government founded the League of Militant Atheists to intensify the persecution. Accordingly, personal expressions of religious faith were not in any way privately banned. Accordingly, personal expressions of religious faith were not in any way privately banned. Now, listen here now, okay? Because this is the same thing that they say on YouTube over and over again, okay? But a strong sense of social stigma was imposed on them by the official government structures and secular mass media. This lines up so much with the book of Revelation, it's not even funny. And it was generally considered unacceptable for members of certain government professions, like teachers, state bureaucrats, soldiers, to be openly religious and anti-secular. And you guys wonder why Christians like myself are persecuted. You're hearing why this is the case. These League of Militant Atheists are all over the place. It wasn't just in 1925. They still exist today. They don't care what you do in your house privately. What they care about is what you display in public and what you do in government. What they want all of that to be atheistic because they want an atheistic state. This is why we got to get educated about this stuff, because when we do, you start to understand the slickery of these people, and you really begin to understand the purpose of the atheist experience, the purpose of these knuckleheads getting on here trying to deconvert everybody. All right? The vast majority of the people in the Russian Empire were at the time of the revolution religious believers, whereas the communists aimed to break the power of all religious institutions and eventually replace religious belief with atheism. The vast majority of the people in the Russian Empire were at the time of the revolution religious believers, okay? Whereas the communists aimed to break the power of all religious institutions and eventually replace religious belief with atheism. Science, 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 science. Some of them are going to school so they can get really good at this. Science, science, not because they want to help society so they can boast and brag that they know science was counterposed to religions. Okay, it was a counter to religious superstition in the media and in the academic writing. The main religions of pre-revolutionary Russia persisted throughout the entire Soviet period, but they were only tolerated within certain limits. Generally, this meant that believers were free to worship in private and in their respective religious buildings, churches, mosques, and synagogues. But public displays of religion outside of such designations were prohibited. In addition, religious institutions were not allowed to express their views in any type of mass media. Does that sound familiar? You people think I'm hateful and everything. I'm not. I just know a little bit about history, and I know what you guys are really all about at the end of the day. Okay? They were not allowed to express their views in any type of mass media, and many religious buildings were demolished or used for other purposes. In the long run, state atheism failed to convert many people. Religion strengthened underground and was revived to help fight the Second World War, and it flourished after the fall of communism. For those of you who don't know, in communistic China, they have re-education camps. These have been talked about on the news. Even the atheists that are watching this right now would deny the existence of these re-education camps. I personally like to call them what they really are, and that's concentration camps. But what they do is that they'll bring you there so they can apparently free you from believing in the Lord Jesus Christ and get you to understand that there's only one God that's ever existed, and that is the government, which is why they try to use the government so much to try to control people. Again, if you disagree with me, the link is in the live chat. Come in here and let's talk about this, okay? There are re-education camps or concentration camps for religious people to get them to stop believing the things that they believe. And that's coming here in the United States to a city near you. Oh, trust you me, it is coming. Because if things continue to go the way they're going, we're going to become just like those places. And as a matter of fact, there's a book that actually predicts that this is going to happen called the Bible. And it's going to be worldwide. All right? That's why when I tell them they're going to have their new world order for a few minutes before Christ utterly destroys it. And when I say he's going to destroy it, he's going to pulverize it. Once it's established, and it looks like you guys are winning. God help you guys after that. He's going to take your food. He's going to take your water. He's going to take your health. He's going to take your air. Then he's going to take your life. Okay? And then you're going to be thrown in the lake of fire. I'm just telling you what it is. Go read the book of Revelation and see for yourself, especially if you get that mark in your right hand or in your forehead. All right? So these communistic countries, their philosophy is based on the fact that they believe that there's no God. Now I've heard atheists on here multiple times say they don't care about what you do in the privacy of your own home. And then you walk out your house, that's when they got a problem with that. Okay? And the people that went out to persecute these Christians at this time was the League of Militant Atheists. A lot of these new atheists today that you see today are actually doing what that league was actually all about. Now, how can people say Christians would support such a thing is absolutely crazy. First of all, the abolition of, the taking away your private property. Let's look at the Christian worldview here for a moment here, guys. What does it say in the book of Exodus? It says, thou shalt not steal. In order for you to be guilty of stealing something, you have to believe that something you have to believe in private property. No one can steal something if it belongs to everybody. It belongs to me, it belongs to you, it belongs to the roaches, it belongs to the ants. But there's no stealing going on if there's no personal ownership. And we all know that Karl Marx wasn't a big fan of God. Lenin wasn't a big fan of God. So, of course, they're going to embrace these principles. Anything that has to do that is anti-Bible. So, of course, we're not going to support the idea that we can't have private property. Okay? This phone belongs to me that I'm using right now. I have a home that I own. All right? I have other things that I own that I'm not going to talk about online. And for a government to come about and say the only way we're going to have equality if nobody owns everything and the government, how did that work out for communist Russia when Stalin was in office? When he can just walk in your home, accuse you of any crime he wanted because there was nobody to challenge him because he was a dictator, and he could just throw you out in the street because he didn't like you. And if you think Joseph Stalin didn't do this, you don't know you don't know Joseph Stalin. You haven't done any research about what this guy has done. What about Mao? He didn't like somebody, he can just set them up and kill him. There was nobody there to challenge him. No communistic country has ever worked. Everybody, wait a minute, that's not true, Jimmy. Look at China. If you believe that that's a communistic country that actually works, come in this room, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about communist Cuba. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the people there and whether or not they're suffering or not. And it's hilarious that China is going out there buying everybody's countries, basically, and claiming that no one can own anything. Absolutely hilarious. Right? We're all going to be treated equal, but you can't even practice the beliefs of your particular religion or whatever. Now, I'm not a Muslim. I'm not into Judaism. I'm not some New Ager or anything like that. But they have the right to practice what they want to practice here in the United States until things change. All right? Now, what about this heavy progressive or this heavy progressive or gradual income tax, getting taxed on your labor? A lot of people don't even know that you don't even got to pay federal income tax if you don't want to, because it's not. If you took them to court and say, show me how that law came to be and how it was legal, if you took them to court, they wouldn't do it. Plenty of people have challenged the government to do that and they haven't been able to do it. But they'll still lock you up because, might makes right. That's another thing atheists used to say on here. They go that might doesn't make right. Oh, yes, it does. You guys do it all the time. When you call CPS, when you call, when you try to get somebody in public office, when you try to get laws passed, and the people don't follow those laws, they use the might of law enforcement. You better believe you guys believe might makes right. And this is how you guys try to slither your way out of it. But anyway, going to this progressive and gradual income tax, they want to tax you on your labor. Yet, it takes a certain amount of votes from Congress in order to get it passed. But if you look at it historically, there wasn't enough people there to vote in order to get that law passed, but it passed anyway, right? The abolition of all rights of inheritance, meaning you're not going to be able to die and like if I die and I want to pass this down to my kid or whatever, or pass this down and give it to my nieces and my nephews, or if I die and I give this to whoever, you know what I mean? They want to get rid of that. They don't want your house to go to nobody. They don't want your car to go to nobody. They want it to go straight to the I assume, the government or the state, so everybody can get their piece. Because we all gotta be together or whatever, right? And the state utopia that they want to put together. None of these things work, because when you get a greedy person in office and you get a greedy person out there trying to run things, that person is always going to abuse their power, and that's something that communists don't think about. And again, as a Christian, what do you think is going to happen to you in a government like that? Listen to the Great Reset. We don't fit in that world. We don't fit in that world, because in that kind of a world, Jesus Christ doesn't have a whole lot of say in that. They're not going to mind your beliefs or anything like that. So you're not going to be able to own any property, and you're not going to be able to pass it down to your offspring. They want to tax you on your labor, which is why we have the federal income tax here, because they're slowly trying to get us to be a communist country. Or the U.S. thinks they can do it better than the communist countries, and they'll give it a different name or whatever for it. The confiscation of property of all immigrants and rebels. Now, an immigrant is somebody, as far as I know, that's supposedly supposed to be somebody who isn't born in that particular country, right? They're coming over to the land. They're living in the land. They may have their papers. They may not have their papers, but they're basically saying that all of their property needs to be confiscated. And then the people who rebel, because you remember what Lenin said, we got to rebel in order to start a communist country. You know what I mean? That their property should be taken away. Let me see something here. Who's trying to get in here? Don't know if that's the real Veckel. Veckel, do me a favor. If that's you, man, do me a favor and text message me. Because I have a lot of people watching that just want to disrupt my show. Or what I can do is this. I can bring everybody in here, and what I'll do is I'll put a background here real quick. We'll put this there. Let me see. All right, so I'm going to bring my guest in here. Veckel wants to get in here. Oops. How you doing, Veckel? Is that you?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Do you know a Cuban, Amy?
Nope.
All right, let me bring him in here real quick, because I'm pretty sure this is a troll. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, Cuban, you got to go. Yeah, it's a troll.
Oh, he had nothing intelligent to offer, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I put that big sign there, so that nobody can see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a troll.
Yeah,
You see? Earlier, I don't know how much you've been watching this, but earlier I talked about how they want to restrict how much we as Christians have the ability to be able to share our beliefs with other people. They're against that. They keep saying that they're not against censorship, but in reality they are.
Yeah, I would definitely say the more radical ones are, for sure. I mean, if philosophically speaking, the atheists have no real obligation to be nice to people, or to show any type of courtesy with any of their interlocutors. But that doesn't mean that all atheists will, be rude to you. But yeah, certainly the trolls will be. Yeah, that's for sure.
Some of them are openly calling themselves trolls now, so I'm actually happy with that now, because that takes even more of their credibility away, where people will stop taking them seriously and looking at these people like they're actually smart. Like, I think people who actually know what they're talking about should be looked upon as being smart. But the people that just want to start trouble all the time, those people shouldn't be given they should be given respect as a human being, but they shouldn't be respected as somebody who can contribute to a conversation. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and again, as far as free speech goes, I mean, if you're under the mindset that morality is subjective, then you could easily try to justify in your own mind that any person who disagrees with you needs to be silenced or canceled or something like that. So yeah.
So, Becca, let me ask you a couple of questions, man, because I said some things earlier in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Before today, did you know anything about communism? And if you did, what did you know about it?
Yeah, I have to be honest. I know very, very, very little about this area of politics and history and stuff like that. So, from what I understand, communism is sort of like a stronger version of the socialism, where you have the government system pretty much in charge of almost every aspect of society. Over particular governments. Companies. Companies are given certain rules that come from the government, hindering them from doing certain things that may be necessarily beneficial for that particular company. I'm sure it goes a lot more deeper than that, but that's pretty much what I know. I know there's a moral aspect of it as well, where you're sort of prevented from having a certain frame of thought that's contrary to the community or society. So you could be in some sort of social trouble, if you will, if you're not thinking a particular thing, if you don't advocate a particular thought or view. So I think that's affiliated. Communism, I think, covers that as well, from what I understand.
For right now, I'm going to put myself on a solo layout because we got another person in here. I think her name is Roy or whatever. How you doing, ma'am? What is your views and your opinions on the show so far, and what's on your mind? Ma'am? Well, I guess she left. See, they want the screen to be open so that they can porn bomb me. And they think I'm stupid, like I'm not going to see it and whatnot. Like I said, I've been around the block, man. This ain't new to me. So Becco, let me ask you this. So you say you didn't know that much. Did you know that our public schools don't really teach us about communism? It's like the only dictator we really know anything about is Adolf Hitler. We barely know anything about Mussolini, if you think about it. All we know about is Adolf Hitler and the Holocaust. When you come out of school, it's pretty much the only dictator you know, unless you do extra studies or whatever, right? But the average American doesn't really know anything about communism. We don't know nothing about Joseph Stalin. A lot of people have no idea about the Bolshevik Revolution. We don't know a lot of things concerning Karl Marx or anything like that. Why do you think that the school systems wouldn't educate us about that?
Well, the only reason I could think of is because the school system is a part of the problem, that they know that communism is inherently bad, is inherently detrimental to any group of people. I mean, there's no evidence anywhere that communism is 100% morally beneficial for any group of people. That's why I like to call it socialism. Socialism diet communism, because that's pretty much where we're headed with all this socialist ideals coming from the left. And I guess that's all.
I won't be inviting nobody else in here. They tried it again. A person pretended to be a black lady, and then they came in here and they tried to porn bomb me, but I had to picture up because I saw it coming a mile away. So yeah, they're trying to disrupt the room.
Yeah, communists.
You see how afraid they are? You see how afraid they are to get this information out there? You see how scared they are?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I'm supposed to be a joke nobody listens to, though.
Yeah, I don't know a single country a communist country that was necessarily more beneficial than any capitalist or non-communist run country. I don't know a single one.
Some of them try to say that Christians should support communism because in Acts chapter 2, you had Christians going out there. That's a dumb argument, I know.
Gosh, that is so. I'm surprised. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate that some professing Christians will utilize that argument too, which I think is absolutely stupid. You got to be completely biblically ignorant or dishonest if you're coming to that position.
Yeah. So for those of you out there that don't know, they try to use Acts chapter 2, I think in chapter 4, where Christians were basically giving away, you know, where they were sharing their possessions and helping everybody out, you know,
Jesus was not
as they had need, and they're trying to say that's communism, and it's not. There's a big difference between a communistic country and what you see in Acts chapter 2. Becca, why don't you explain to everybody the differences?
Well, again, I think what I was saying before is that communism is like an example of communism is where you have a corporation being run by a totalitarian government.
Right.
And so, you know, you have your company, I have my company, and we can sell whatever we want. However, there's certain rules that we have to abide by that are put out by the government. And those rules may not necessarily be immoral or any, you know, they may not have any type of, what we're selling rather, and what we're doing with our company may not be inherently moral or immoral. You know, they're just kind of, you know, like I'm selling apples, you're selling oranges. And let's say the government decides that they, you know, they want your company and my company to give a certain amount of our produce for free. You know, well, obviously that's going to hurt us in some way, shape, or form, but it's not going to hurt the people who actually need it, you know, who need the food, the poor people, you know. So this is one of the ways that communism kind of makes itself look pretty, you know, it's going to force G-Man, it's going to force you to sell your apples to give some of your apples for free to this group of people over here who can't work. You know, and it's going to do the same thing to me. You know, and if I don't, and if neither one of us follows any of those rules, then we could get in some sort of trouble. We can have our company shut down, something like that by the government. Now, as far as Jesus being a socialist or a communist, I mean, that couldn't even be any further from the truth. I mean, we look at examples like in, I want to say in Luke chapter 12, you know, Jesus, I think the man tells Jesus to tell his brother to divide the inheritance between the two of them or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus responds to the man, you know, who made me a judge or a divider over you? You know, so right there, you know, to me, that supports the non-communist, non-socialist view. And then you got, of course, the parable of the talents, right, in Matthew 25. Mm-hmm. And to me, you know, that's like a kind of in-your-face endorsement of capitalism, if you ask me. So it's all talking about, you know, people have, you know, free market, people having the freedom to do what they want with their belongings, with their works, and they're earning they're earning it. You know, they work hard and they're seeing the fruits of their labor rather than them getting some sort of flat rate from the totalitarian tyrannical government. You know, because what if you are? Yeah, go ahead.
What you hear earlier when I was reading about how they treated religious people and how they went about getting rid of religion? And how
now that's the other part. Yeah,
I was public, and they wanted atheism propagated in the schools.
Yeah, that's the other aspect of the other facet of communism. You know, because what I was just talking about just now was the economic aspect of it. But yeah, what you're talking about is, I think it's even more important for well-being, as far as well-being, because if we have that people being killed because they don't follow the particular unbiblical law, that's a problem. And I didn't hear what you said, but yeah.
No, I'm talking about how they persecuted religious people. And the funny thing is, the way they treated the Catholic Church and the way they treated Christians, as opposed to how they treated the Muslims, it always comes down to the fact that Muslims ain't just gonna just sit down and lie down and let you guys do whatever you want to them. You know, those people will fight back. You know, I mean, Christians are the ones that's a little bit more like pacifists when it comes to our beliefs. Well, we'll just sit back, you know, let our freedoms be taken away, and then go into private and worship or whatever. But those Muslims will straight up kill you if you push them too hard. You know.
Well, to be honest with you, if you're a true Muslim, you won't even have to be pushed to do all that stuff, because it's part of their job to to kill the unbeliever, the infidel, according to their own Quran and Hadith. So they don't even have to do it. It doesn't even have to come down to that, really, for them, anyway.
Exactly. And if people remember when I was screen sharing those videos of Christmas is a Lie, the truth about atheism, you'll remember that that the uploader of those videos was suggesting that World War II went a lot different than what they teach us in schools. That what they actually accomplished was they got rid of a lot of Protestant churches during World War II, and they got replaced with Catholic state churches. And a lot of those nations became quote unquote atheistic. You want to call it that, but it's something really interesting to look at. But Beckel, you notice that the people that promote Black Lives Matter, that those people are Marxists, right? And you notice,
absolutely.
and you also notice that the people that are pushing this great reset, that they're saying that you will own nothing,
yep,
and you'll be happy.
Communism. That's communism. Full blown.
Yep.
Full blown communism.
And that's what they're pushing for. They're just giving it different names.
Yeah. See, ultimately, what the lefties want is they want free stuff. Everybody wants free stuff. The problem is, though, that it's not realistic. It's not real. I mean, in a perfect world, socialism would work. If everybody in the world was nice to each other, if there was no such thing as inherent sin, okay. If the Bible was false about the doctrine of the origin of sin, what am I saying? The doctrine of original sin, rather, right? If everyone was born good and moral, without any sin, without any capacity to sin, then socialism would be the ideal environment, the ideal thing to do, to abide by. In fact, it wouldn't even be a debate. We'd be doing it anyway, because that'd be out of our own free will, because we're just good. But the problem is, though, that's not the case in this reality. People suck. Humans suck. So we need particular laws. We need particular rules, because people steal. People are dishonest. People are competitive. So there has to be certain boundaries. What
are we going to do? Give medals to everybody and give everybody a trophy? Give everybody a medal? Give everybody a trophy so that nobody feels left out? What kind of sissy world is that?
That's exactly what the left. That's exactly what the lefties are trying to do right now by putting out this idea in schools that everybody gets a reward. So if you got Team A playing against Team B, okay, if Team B loses, Team B is rewarded in the same way that Team A is rewarded. Oh, it's a participation trophy. Well, don't do that to the kids, because then that's not going to be an incentive for them to work harder, to train harder, so that they can win the next game.
That's gonna make a lot of lazy people. That's what that's gonna make for. Exactly. And can you imagine? Can you imagine when it comes to food? No matter how hard you work, you're gonna get the exact same amount of food as the next person, even if you bust your rump, do overtime, do all those good things. Yeah, they get a pound of lettuce and you get a pound of lettuce, but you work harder than the other person. That's ridiculous.
Yep. That's 100% communism, right? Now, somebody could look at the parable of the men or the workers in the field and say that that's an example of socialism or communism. No, that's not. What we're seeing is one man who has his own business, and he makes a decision on who he's going to pay what. Okay, that's not an example of a government superseding this privately owned business and forcing that owner of that privately owned business to pay his workers, the same amount. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine if all of these people watching was forced to take a portion of their income and give it to Shanny? Can you imagine it? If they were forced to take all of their money, you know what? Maybe we should push a government like that so we can watch all of their money go into Shanny's pocket. That'd be hilarious.
They would hate
yeah, you wanted that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, G-Man, right? A lot of these people that talk about that advocate for socialism or communism, even, I don't even think that a lot of these people even really understand what that entails. Because again, all you got to do is take a kid trick or treat and do like what Steven Crowder did. He had a truck. He had a van open, and he had a whole bunch of candy in it. And he was open on Halloween night. You know, a whole bunch of kids came up to him, and they were asking for candy. And then he was distributing the candy. But then what he would do was he would take some of the candy that he gave to one kid and give it to another kid. And the kid's like, what's going on? Why are you doing that? He says, because, you know, it's because it's some of his candy now. He can have some of your candy. He said, yeah, but that was my candy. He says, I know, but now it's some of it is his candy now.
You know what I feel sorry for?
But
I
it's
feel
my
sorry
candy.
for all those millionaires. I feel sorry for all those millionaires that when all of this happens, that they got to give all of their money to people who probably are just going to use it to snort coke. You know what I mean? And to go out there and buy useless stuff that don't matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
While this person who bust their rump and worked super hard has to now like eat oodles and noodles and whatnot because
That's
you got
exactly
you got
what the
these
government.
lefties on here that are too sensitive and don't want people to be rewarded based on how hard they work.
That's exactly what the Democrats want. And as a matter of fact, under this administration, people, the people that voted for Biden, they can boast all they want, talk about, oh, look, we got more jobs coming in. But you know why there's so many jobs available right now? Is because nobody wants to work. And why doesn't anybody want to work? It's because the government, Biden administration, keep giving everybody free money, and there's no incentive for people to work. You know. Now, under Trump's administration, there was a rise in jobs and there was a rise in employment. Okay. But now we had this Biden who doesn't even know what the heck he's doing. I don't know a single person that voted for Biden that actually is able to defend what the heck he's doing, or even, you know, from a more personal standpoint, what if he even knows where he's at or what he's saying. The man is clearly not in charge. And yet people vote for this man. Why? Because they don't like the tweets from Trump. Trump was a mean old man. You know, all this accusation about racism. I mean, that's the left-hard's line of defense now. Whenever they're proven wrong in any type of political debate, their trump card, no pun intended, is to just lift the race card and say, well, you're just saying that because you're a white supremacist. And if you're black, you're an Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus. We've heard that before. So
my thing is this: when are they going to understand that our government recognizes atheism as being a religion? And the moment that we become a communistic country, you know, even though they'll have certain benefits, a lot of the things that they do now, they're not going to be allowed to do no more. No.
Yeah,
they'll be shot on sight.
I don't think they understand how. I don't think they understand how inherently evil this advocation for baby killing or abortion actually is. I mean, these people are sick, they're demonic, they're evil, and you can't be a Christian and support that. I'm sorry. If there's any Christians out there who support abortion, okay, I would say that you're either a false convert or you're extremely ignorant of what the Bible says.
Exactly. And going back to Acts chapter 2, the big difference, I think, between a government making you to share what you have, as opposed to somebody doing it freely. Okay, right. There's more value with a person doing it freely, because if that person works hard, they can take the little extra money that they have and they can help somebody out who is in need, as opposed to just being told to do it. Now, Veckel, does that sound familiar? You remember back in the Great Debate days where they told us that we had divine command theory? I mean, think about this a minute now. They told us that the only reason we do what we do is because we're told to do it. Yet and still, in their communistic utopia that they want a world. They literally are begging the world to create a system where we're forced to go out there and do these things. Beckel, do me a favor. Rebuke and Reprove wants a link to get in.
All right, sure.
And then do me a favor. Have him confirm to you that he's who he says he is, because we can get some fakes in here.
Okay. I already have his email, so we're good.
Send to his email.
Yeah, I'll send it directly to him.
I'm still going to put security up in case it ain't him.
Yeah, that's always a good idea.
Yeah,
Joe's probably way more knowledgeable about this area than myself, to be honest with you. But I know I'm an extreme layman when it comes to this stuff. But I know one thing, though. I know what I don't like. I don't like that the government is willing to put push regulations that's going to be detrimental to a particular company, or take stuff from people who've worked their butt off and give it to somebody else who doesn't want to do anything. I mean, there are actual video clips out there that are that I've seen maybe 5 or 6 years ago, even before Trump got into office, of black women getting on camera and literally saying, "Yeah, I'm on welfare. You know, I got 5 kids. I need a man to take care of these, help me take care of these kids. You know, and I don't want to work." And you can clearly see in the video the woman was physically able to work. You know, there was nothing wrong with her legs, nothing wrong with her arms. She looked, she looked like a bum, but she looked healthy enough to get a job to work. But yet she's sitting there openly admitting that she does not want to work, that she wants to continue getting welfare checks and stuff like that. And this is the type of people that socialists and the government and the Democrats want to support. They want to support people just like this, particularly black people. And why is that? Well, I mean, it goes right along with what Dinesh D'Souza was saying about how slavery starts. We continue to put a particular group of people into victimized mentality, where they are, they can't think for themselves. They're always looking for a handout, and when they don't get the handout, they're programmed to say, "Woe is me, white man this, white man that," and all this other stuff. Or when you see another black person working their butt off, trying to move on up to the east side, what do they call you? What are they trained to do then? They're trained to call you an Uncle Tom, an Uncle Ruckus. Why? Right. Because you want to do a little bit of extra overtime for hours, or you just get along with people, right? And you're working to get up to the next level,
right? And
they want to keep you down because they see you making more progress than they are. So therefore, you're an Uncle Tom, you're a loser, you're a sellout, all this other stuff. So
Gotcha. Did you get the link to Rebuke and Reprove?
Yes. Let me double check, see that it's sent.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, one of the things that I want to talk about is a different, because a lot of people think communism would be good to fight corporate greed. Now, I think that's absolutely, positively Comedy Central, Saturday Night Live stupid. You know what I mean? Funny. Because if you got a communist country, you have a dictator running it, and that dictator can literally do whatever he wants. There is no Congress to question them. There is no Supreme Court. There is no military leaders to disagree. It's just going to be the dictator and what they want. You know what I mean? And if, at least when it comes to a corporation, when they're dealing with corporate greed, laws can be made to regulate what a company can do to prevent them from monopolizing everything. You know what I mean? Right. But from what I can see in these communistic countries, man, they'll go so far to almost genocide their people in order to keep their power, in order to keep getting the money that they're getting. Right now we see Russia going to war with the Ukraine. You know what I mean? But people tend to forget that Russia enslaved Ukraine under Joseph Stalin. But yeah.
G-Man, let me show you. Let me give you an example of how brainwashed a lot of these Democrats are, including some of these people who are not even from America, but they come here and they got their papers. Well, there's this guy, really nice guy. I really love this guy. He's a great guy. I love working with him. He's, every time he comes into the room, it's always exciting to work with him. Because he's so funny, he helps the time fly faster at work. Okay. But he's from Turkey.
Sorry, Becca, one second. Jill is in the background. So I'm going to put this back up now. You can go ahead and talk. I'm going to put this here and see if that's him. All right. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
So
he's got a heavy Turkish accent, but he's a great guy. I love him to death. But he and I had a discussion, a fairly animated discussion about socialism and capitalism. This guy was telling me that socialism is a better system, yada yada yada. I said, you do understand there's negative repercussions to having a socialist government, and he's that we had our differences. So on and so forth. But here's the thing that really bothered me. This guy is hardcore defending socialism, right? But then he turns around and tells me that in his country, if you say anything negative about their president, you can go to jail. So if you're a regular citizen and you say anything disparaging against the Turkish president, you can go to jail, or you can, at the very least, get a fine. I says, wait a minute, that's a socialist government. He said, yes. I say, and that's what you want to bring over here? So you want to bring over here? We're not talking, see, when we're saying socialism and communism, we're not just talking about the economy. We're not talking about a fiscal issue here. Okay, there's a moral aspect to this as well. And people think that's all that it means, giving people free money and helping out the poor and all this other stuff, No. There's way more to that than just this issue of, of it being a fiscal or monetary, economic and all that other stuff. So, but anyway, go ahead.
All right. So, Joe, is that you, Joe?
It is I. Hey, how's it going?
Brother Joe.
Do me a favor, Joe. Joe, do me a favor. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's Joe. That's Joe. That's Joe.
Okay, cool. There we go. I just wanted to make sure, man, I had to put the security up because some people can pretend they got the person in the background now. They got a bunch of stills and they pretend to be people, and I gotta make sure.
Yeah. Next time, just ask Joe to say Jesus is Lord.
What I gotta do? Put my camera on and dance a jig, G-Man.
You can't say that in here. What's wrong with you? You can't say that word. But Joe, you're probably way more
attention to every little tiny thing I do. I can't even eat on camera. I'm nervous because I'm eating. You know what I mean?
You're far more educated in the area of socialism versus capitalism than I am. I'm dying to hear some of your take or whatever.
Socialism, communism is theft. That's what it is. Stealing.
Wow, that thing comes up again.
Yeah, that sums it up. Right? So don't ask me, where does the Bible say that this communism is wrong? Thou shalt not steal. There you go. End of the debate.
Yeah, exactly. if real quick, G-Man, for those who are not familiar with the argument, Acts chapter 2, I think it's in verses 44 and 45. Let me just read that real quick, because this is unfortunately a lot of dummies would say, socialism is in the Bible. So here's what it is. It says, Acts chapter 2, verses 44 says, and all that believed were together and had all things common. Verse 45, and sold their possessions and goods and parted them to all men as every man had need. So these are the two verses that they take out of context, as most atheists do, without practicing any proper exegesis.
Right. And
they just jump to communism, socialism. See, Jesus advocated socialism. No, that's not what's happening here. I think you said it right, G-Man, that this was not anything. This was not a law that was given by Christ or by the Father for believers to do this thing. This was something that they did out of their own free will. Why? Because of the transformative power of the Holy Spirit within them that compelled them to do this for each other.
Right. What about the slavery issue, Veckel? And Jill, we're 3 black people in this stream right now. How do you feel about being slaves all over again by the government if we ever become a communistic country? Because that's what happens: is people become slaves to the government. How can they argue against God, condoning slavery in the scripture, and then actually pushing communism, which is ultimately going to enslave people? How the heck does that work?
Right.
Jill, I would love to hear your two cents on this, Jill.
Socialist government? I don't know. They would certainly set the prices of goods and services, and based on what they're doing up there in DC, I don't know if we would last too long with a socialist in charge. Man, what do you guys think? A socialist government? Would you rather have a socialist or a atheistic state, or Islam, Sharia?
You want to know something, man? I don't really know much about Sharia, but to be honest with you, I think I'd almost rather have Sharia. because at least in Sharia, the women will be forced to respect their men a little bit better. I'm in trouble now. I'm in trouble now.
Sexist, racist,
Keep the
homophobic.
women on.
Oh my
Keep the
God,
women.
Zucko, they're gonna come for you for saying that,
Oh
man.
yeah,
They're gonna come for you.
you know what? These people know I don't give a crap about what they think of me. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
They know full well by now. It's been over 10 years. They know full well that I don't give a crap about them. Come on now. But
Mm-hmm.
and plus I'm kind of saying that and I'm partly joking about it. So I mean, there's certain aspects of Sharia law that I think would be better than an atheist-run government.
I can't remember who the economist was, but he said that in contrast to socialism, what they're trying to do, quasi-socialism or partial socialism in certain areas, mainly the black communities, it only ruins part of an economy. So socialism just doesn't work. So the Bible would never support an inefficient system, okay? Because the Bible teaches us to be efficient, especially with our finances. If you want to learn how to deal with your finances, read the scriptures, right?
That's right.
So the Bible never teaches that we should embrace an inefficient system that has destroyed society over and over and resulted in famine and death over and over again. I mean, that would not be common sense. And I think God gave us, blessed us with the ability to think rationally with common sense, which unfortunately is the most hard.
Just take it all the way back to the beginning. What was the first command that he gave Adam and Eve? To be fruitful and multiply. Okay, now, we could look at that in one aspect and say, well, that's more of a, sexual connotation to bring more offspring to the world, so on and so forth. But I think that could also apply to on a more of a business aspect as well, because we do see how God blessed Joseph in his story. He worked his butt off and earned his way up until he got to become the second in command of Egypt. Now, I would say that was God's blessing doing that to him, because as we see in Genesis 50, God, Joseph is admitting that, his brothers meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. So God was definitely involved in that whole journey with Joseph. But still, the fact of the matter is, we see an example of Joseph prior to that, working hard, despite the fact that he was enslaved, and everything that he touched was blessed. And that's why he moved up the ladder. He went from being a slave to, being a sort of a high-ranking servant, if you will.
Right. Right. Let me ask you guys a question. Because one of the things that I promised these people that I was going to bring up is I was going to give examples about things that they find deplorable in the Bible and compare it to, a communistic country, right? Let's look at the Old Testament here for a moment, right? Because they're always saying our God is like hideous, disgusting, unbearable, and everything and whatnot, right? What about some of these Old Testament laws that provided for the poor in the Old Testament, where farmers were told not to pick up all of the corn, or not to pick up all of the food, and leave some of the food on the ground? Yeah, and leave some of the food on the ground. Why do these communists got a problem with that? You know what I mean? And having a system like that, and still be in a capitalistic society where you're able to pick your corn and actually sell it. And yes, you might have more money than the next person. You know what I mean? And by the way, that was done in a theocracy, you atheists out there watching. You know what I mean? Or the slavery system, or restitution in the nation of Israel. I would love for one of them to come in here and argue against the restitution system that we see in the Old Testament, compared to what a communistic society will offer under a dictator.
Yeah, I would like to see that too.
You know what I mean? Because if you had a debt to someone, you paid it off by being under that person, rulership, or becoming somebody's servant, or if you want to call it a slave or whatever, for 6 years, and in the 7th year or in the year of Jubilee, you'll be let free or whatever. But you're paying back your debt. The person that suffered loss and want their money back will be fulfilled, and the person that went into that punishment will learn that if you're going to borrow money, or if you're going to try to harm people's property, that you're going to have to pay. You have to pay it back, or whatever. You know what I mean? So I want to know where these how these people will argue against that, because they're against all forms of servanthood or slavery in the Bible. I would love to hear how they go about doing that, but they're not going to come in here. I don't even think we're going to see comments in the live chat
Yeah, G-Man.
regarding
These are G-Man, these are the same people who buy Apple iPhones and Nikes and all this other stuff, and they don't consider the blood, sweat, and tears that that bring forth these items that we take for granted. You know, why you think that you hear stories about some of these companies having fish nets at the bottom of their buildings? Because what's happening is that there's some of the workers are so stressed out that they're committing suicide. They're jumping out of the windows and plunging to their deaths because they're just super stressed with the work. And yet you got a lot of these nut jobs, these knuckle dragging idiots who are whining and complaining about capitalism. You know, and these same people don't want to work hard. Again, I would love to challenge some of these people, that defend socialism. Let us send a couple of illegal immigrants to their house, and let them.
Oh, you call somebody illegal? Somebody's gonna get triggered because you call somebody illegal. Oh my God!
Let's send Javier over there and with a couple of his siblings to their house and see what happens.
Did you see what the governor in Texas was doing with the illegal immigrants? He's just busting them to DC. Let them deal with it, since they passed legislation to let these people in here illegally. Let them deal with them. Oh man, I love that.
And now the mayor of DC is whining and complaining about it. I love.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as illegals, according to them. There's no such thing as illegals.
I just got word today that another bus was sent to New York City.
Yes, they're busing them to all the liberal states, all the Biden blue states.
That's very dangerous. But
those states.
I do the same thing. By the way, real quick, just a little bit of a plug in. I'm happy for Carrie Lake. She won. She'll be the new governor of Arizona. By the way, so looking very happy about that. But anyway.
But to what you were saying, G-Man, about slavery. These are the same people who support Bernie Sanders and leftists that have proposed that all property that includes your retirement fund, that includes your retirement funds, become property of the state. Now that means everyone is a slave. So how can you support a system that basically takes the property from the people? And they like to claim that it's the people who own the property, but that's just another commie lie. They're actually, it will be the state that owns the property, and those who are working for the state, those will be the ones that will control. Those will be your controllers, if just so for lack of a better word.
I mean, could you imagine? You're starting from the ground. G-Man, you wake up one day, you say, I have a good idea for a business. And then you do all the paperwork, you go through all the stress of getting this thing off the ground. You finally got it going. And you're very successful for a few months, right? Let's say in month 5, you decide that you want to do something a little different. You want to try something out to see if it's going to bring you more revenue, right? Then here comes the government. The government says, okay, Mr. G-Man, we got this rule here for all businesses here. If you don't abide by them, then you're going to get a fine, or we're going to shut you down. You say, okay, well, what's this new thing? And let's say this new bill that they pass is some sort of regulation that is completely contrary to everything that you had planned for this new thing that you wanted to do with your company. In fact, all it's going to do is possibly make the company lose money. Okay. And now, how would you feel about that? You wouldn't like that, right? Because it's your personal company. It's your company. You worked your butt off to bring this company from the ground up. And now here comes this external entity that's going to tell you how you should run your business. Otherwise, they're going to shut you down. So let's say, for example, one of the things is that, okay, you need to hire some more people. So I can't afford it. I already hired like these 10 people here. They're excellent workers. and we've been very successful for 5 months. He said, yeah, well, we got a couple of people from Guatemala. They need jobs, and they need a place. They need a place to, they need work, and you need to pay them the same amount that you're paying everybody else. So wait a minute. So I got to pay them for training. I got to pay for training. There's all these things that you have to do that may not be beneficial to you personally, to your company, but yet you're being forced to do it by this external entity, the totalitarian government. And I think to me that's an example of communism, and it's this they're forcing you who you're going to employ, but they're also dictating how much of your produce, how much of your product that you're going to produce, and how much of it you're going to distribute. When you, before they stepped in, were doing just fine. You liked the system that you had set up, but now here comes Uncle Sam or the Democrats, whatever, or the socialists, who's going to tell you, no, we want you to do it this way. And I don't think that's right. But go ahead.
No, I wanted to actually go into how a lot of the atheists, especially during the Great Debate days, and what they're doing today, even still, they're trying to pretend like they're not doing it, but they are. And just talk about how they're going about persecuting Christians and how they're going about, basically telling everybody you can practice what you want to practice in private. In public, you shouldn't talk about your beliefs, but then pushing science and trying to secularize our schools, or turn our schools into an atheistic a place to be so that they can push and spread atheism while persecuting religion at the same time, or Christianity at the same time. How do you guys feel about the definition that I use for atheism when I say that atheism is an anti-Protestant Reformation movement? How do you guys feel about that? Do you think I'm being a bit extreme when I say that, or
an anti-Protestant?
An anti-Protestant Reformation movement. Do me a favor. Type up the word Jesuit and go look at and go look up what a Jesuit is for me real quick. Type that up and go look at the definition of what a Jesuit is. It's gonna be like, what? Just read it. Look up Jesuit and look up what a Jesuit is.
Well, I'm on dictionary.com and it says a member of Roman Catholic religious order, Society of Jesus, founded by Ignatius of Loyola, 1534. A crafty, and second definition says, a crafty, intriguing, or equivocating person, so-called in allusion to the methods ascribed to the order by its opponents.
Yeah, they're anti-Protestant Reformation, and they're all about trying to stop the Reformation, right? So think about this a minute now. Who are they going to target if they're trying to stop the Reformation? They're going to stop Protestant Christians, right? People that take the literal interpretation of the Bible or not, right? People who will read it for themselves and everything, right? Clearly, they're not going after Catholics and nothing like that. They're going after Protestants. The only other group of people that's actually going after those kind of people are atheists, and they're doing the same things that the Jesuits are doing.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying before, man. You said it several times in the past, that there won't be atheism won't get the upper hand either. There's going to be a one world religion that's even going to persecute atheists as well. Atheists will be in trouble as well.
Well, you better believe it. They're going to worship the Antichrist. They keep talking about they don't got a God. You wait until the man of sin gets here. He ain't gonna want to hear that garbage. You're gonna bow down and worship him, or you're gonna die.
Which again, if atheists are going to be consistent, they wouldn't have a problem with faking the funk at all. So they could say, "Yeah, I worship him. Yeah, whatever. Just give me my money. Give me my food. Give me my bread and stuff like that." See, so they can sit there and lie about it because they have no allegiance to God, so they can lie about it. They can lie about their allegiance to the Antichrist.
I think that's something that the Antichrist is going to do. It ain't just going to be him just offering a mark and telling people they got to get the mark. I think the mark is going to encompass, a lot of starving people that's going to be offered food, a whole lot of money. Maybe they'll be offering everybody like 10 grand each. You know what I mean? For them to swear allegiance to this new government leader or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a lot of things like that. And they're going to make us look real bad when we speak out against them. And they're going to have us killed for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, I've heard some arguments from even the most competent advocates of communism, and I'm just absolutely astounded by the garbage that I hear coming out of their mouths. Some of these people actually support the way what China is doing to those what do you call those people that they have in those concentration camps with the Muslims? You
Uh,
Uyghur Muslims or something like that. I forget. Like
so
some of
am I
these
in the
people.
concentration camps in the Middle East?
No, in China.
They're re-education camps.
Yeah, what are they called? The Uyghur something. Yeah, I think Ginger Yevon has it on the side chat there.
Uyghurs.
I think it's pronounced Uyghurs or something like that. I'm not sure,
Oh,
but
those are the older. Yeah, I've heard of those people.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these people who support socialism and communism, they know full well what's going on over there in China, and they don't say a single thing. In fact, if you want to see the most disgusting advocate of this nonsense, check out this debate between Charlie Kirk and this hardcore communist who lives in America. By the way, he needs to go to
Walsh?
another country. What's no, not Walsh. No, some other weirdo who had a cold sore in his lip. And he had a really demonic laugh too, by the way. I kid you not. When you watch the debate, this is what his laugh sounds like. That's not an exaggeration, by the way. He sounds exactly like that. Look it up.
Lion Banshee.
Yeah. So he actually defends the Chinese, the Chinese government. He defends the CCP. He defends all form of communism. It was an interesting debate. The guy, in my opinion, was saying a lot of stupid stuff, but he was very witty with his responses. I mean, he was immediately because we all know Charlie Kirk is very witty. He knows his stuff. I don't know one person who's ever beaten him in a debate about politics and stuff or American history. But this one guy, though, even though he was saying a lot of fraudulent stuff, he was responding very, very quickly to a lot of the objections that Charlie Kirk was throwing at him. And but again, that's how the devil works, right? I mean, he makes you think that just because he's very wordy with his words, that he seems to be one to be reckoned and to be holding as one who's intelligent and stuff like that. So
right. Hey, Joe, let me ask you a quick question, Joe. How do you think universal health care is going to lead us to a communistic state?
Universal health care?
Yeah, if we were to get universal health care where the government paid for all of our health care, how would that lead us to a communistic country? Because, I mean, obviously the atheists are not in the room, so I got to ask somebody this. I need somebody to play devil's advocate because they're too scared to come in here and have an adult conversation. This is why I should have did this on my other channel, because I would have had a whole bunch of them coming in my room. But like I said, I got the clowns subscribed to this channel.
Oh, well, I mean, universal health care it depends on what you mean by universal. If you're talking about like Obamacare, like a system that provides patients with prescription services, the United States has a mixture of both private and public insurance programs. So, but if that were to ever be, if they were to ever abolish the private insurance programs, I think that would be disastrous. Simply because anything that the government runs always historically is run into the ground. I mean, just look at the difference between public housing and private housing. Go to a public park and then go to a park that is owned by someone or a private park.
Mm-hmm.
So the public-private distinction in of itself there is a problem because there's no incentive to take care of the property if it's not yours. You don't own
it.
So that's why socialism fails in general. All forms of socialism fail.
I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to how they're going to take away everybody's property in the United States and tell you that you're going to be happy after it happens. The only way I can see that happening is if people just can't afford the taxes. They make the taxes so crazy that nobody can pay them.
Well, I think what they want to do is just put everybody in the take everyone's property and put us all in the metaverse where we have the illusion that we have something. I think that's the goal. So you turn on your apartment, you turn on your car and go to the market. But you know, you don't really have anything but a lot. And that's what they want. That's what they want everyone to have a lot, except for them, right? So we're seeing that more and more, and with these liberals up in DC, it's rules for thee and not for me. So they're starting to make rules for themselves, and they get to keep the armed guards with the AR-15s, but we can't have them. So that's what we're slowly moving to that. But I think it's going to take a few more years before we actually see an overhaul completely.
Mark Lawrence is saying that we have no concept of how their system works. Hey, Mark, why don't you stop being a keyboard hero and click the link and come in here and educate us if we don't know what we're talking about? No, he's just saying that we don't know how the system works. They talk a big game in a live chat, but I think they know from experience that they come in here and they just make statements like that and don't break anything down, they're going to get embarrassed. That's why they don't like coming in here to talk.
He doesn't know how it works. He doesn't know how it works either, because it's never worked. So he can't know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It never worked.
Exactly.
That's right.
So how do you know?
Again, I would love for Mark to come in here and give us an example. Yeah,
he knows how it works in his dormitories when he was having a discussion with his buddies, his dorm room. That's how he knows how it works. That's how. I got it. Okay. Well, we live in the real world. God created a real world where we learn from things that we experiment, and we try different systems, and we are to learn from those experiments.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're human beings, right? I mean, even animals are smart enough to know that okay, if I keep going to this one spot, and there's a trap there, and I see a bear's foot is still a part of his foot is still stuck in that trap. I know this is an area I shouldn't be going on a regular basis. Let me find another stream. That's common sense. God instilled that in all of his creation, except for in the atheists, I guess.
You know what would be hilarious if we became a communist country tomorrow? Everybody making their super chats and everybody making their money on YouTube would have to give me a piece of it. They have to give everybody else a piece of it. These people on here keep talking about something. We got to get rid of capitalism while using capitalism to try to get rich. Hilarious. And then picture all of them giving up their stuff and giving it to somebody less fortunate. Not going to happen. If you're not doing it now, unless the government forces you, they're not going to do it.
Under a communist regime, they'll be forced to do that.
Mm-hmm.
See, so we'll be forced to give money to these abortionist people who are getting Ubers to the nearest abortion clinic, but then they'll be having to give us money, put a portion of their money towards stuff that they disagree with. That's going to be to our benefit,
You know what I think they're going to do, Beck? Because they overturn Roe versus Wade. So you know what they're going to try to do? They're going to try to get us to do what China's doing. They're going to try to say you're only allowed to have 2 babies or 2 kids or 1 kid or whatever. That's where we're going to go. Watch. I would say in about 10 years, they're going to tell everybody that you're only allowed to have 1 child.
That'll probably start if something like that were to be implemented. It'll probably start off with some sort of federal funding, where they'll say they'll only support you if you have a certain amount of kids in your household or whatever. Anything if you have more than 4, if you have more than 2 kids, then we're not going to support you in the way that you want. That kind of thing.
And they'll say that the people are taking advantage of the system. That's what they'll say.
Yeah, which people are already. I mean, even under the capitalist society, people are being lazy. They don't want to work. I think, and I know a lot of people don't like Charlie Kirk. I think, I chew up the meat and spit out the bones with him. Let me put it that way. But I do think he's on point with a lot of things. And one of the things that he said that I agree with was that so we see more free will giving and offerings between individuals in a capitalist environment than we do with under a socialist or communist environment. And you see more prosperity under a capitalist environment.
That's right.
And the reason and one of the reasons why you see more prosperity under a capitalist environment is because part of that is because people are willing to give freely to people. I mean, just look at YouTube, for example. Almost everyone who has a super chat activated on their live stream, there's always guaranteed, there's always at least one or two people who's willing to give you something. And that's just the way it is, man. It's almost mechanical. Like it's almost
Becco, look at the screen, Becco. Becco, look at the screen here. Look at the screen here. So I want all you communists to do me a favor. That's my cash app. G-Man 3233. That's my cash app. G-Man 3233. If you're a communist and you really want to share your belongings and you want to share your hard-earned money and you're not a capitalist, you liar, why don't you actually just donate to the G-Man? You know, people are standing by the phones and we're waiting for you to give up everything that you work so hard for. I bet you, and now, Becco, I promise you, ain't nobody donating.
No, they won't do
Nobody
that.
out there going to donate.
They won't do it because they know that
we distribute that wealth. We distribute some of that wealth.
Well, come on,
Todd Malakote. I know you have some money over there saved up because you went to seminary. So I mean,
yeah, give me my money, Todd. That money that you work for is my money because we're all equal, and you have to equally distribute your money to me. That's the world that that's the world that you're trying to build, right? So give me your money that you work so hard for, Todd.
Yeah, we gotta take a portion of our tax dollars to help these baby killers take a ride from a red state to a blue state to get an abortion. Well, doggone it, maybe you could give me some of your money so I can print more Bibles. You know, so, but yeah, it's. I mean, you said something that made me want to say something else. I forgot now what I was going to say.
I tell you, man, I forgot what it's like to talk to intelligent people sometimes. Sometimes, back when you guys are not in here, man, I forget what it's like to talk to an intelligent person because I talk to these atheists so much. You know what I mean? I lose so many brain cells. It's hard to remember how to actually think. Mama mia. You remember when Miss Parker came in my room and said that rapists shouldn't be thrown in jail? I was like, what?
What?
It's like my whole brain turned to mush when I heard that. I was like, what?
What?
That woman gave me a migraine. That woman tried to argue that rapists shouldn't be thrown in jail.
Was she trolling? Was she trolling you?
No, she was dead serious. And then she claimed, then she lied about being. I was like, if you don't cut that mess out, because we later on found out that she made that mess up and that she was never raped, but she tried to say that she was. What? So I don't know what the heck she was doing, but all I know is she came in my room and said that they shouldn't be thrown in jail.
That sounds stupid.
That's why she's not allowed in my room for serious conversations. I honestly will never have another conversation with her ever again about a serious matter, ever. I can't do it, bro. They turn my brain to mush. They brag about being the smartest, but they say some of the dumbest things.
Some of them certainly.
And their ideas are so dumb. They like you were talking about Obamacare earlier or universal health care, right? Mm-hmm. None of these idiots ever thought that they would need to train more doctors. None of them ever thought of that.
Train more doctors.
A bunch of idiots.
Everybody's got to make $5 an hour.
How can you increase the amount of healthcare patients without training any additional doctors to handle the millions of new patients? These guys are idiots. They should never be in charge of running anything. I wouldn't trust a liberal with 10 of my dollars.
Doesn't
by the way, no communists donated by us, by the way. No communists donated yet. Just want to let y'all know. No communists donated.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, G-Man. Again, I was talking about how it almost seems mechanical whenever somebody puts up a Cash App, a link to a Cash App, a link to a PayPal, Super Chat, whatever. There's always bound to be at least one person, one or two people who's going to give you something. Could be $1, could be up to any amount. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that no matter what live stream I go to, there's always that one person who gives freely. even sometimes it's people who disagree with you. They'll still give you something. And I
Right.
just find that fascinating how we see so much of that everywhere in America. It's everywhere. Like, and some people, I'm assuming some people donate money to multiple people that they subscribe to on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, for example, there's a guy named John Campia who I'm subscribed to on YouTube. He talks movies all the time. Very, very one of the popular YouTubers. And he has a daily show every day, and he just opens up his super chat, and bam, 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 like one person after another is sending him super chats, like as if it's no problem. You know, sometimes it's $2, sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's $20. I mean, it even happened to me. My first day activating my super chat, which I actually forgot that I had it on that day because I meant to leave it off. But because I meant to turn it off for another occasion, but I left it on by accident. So I started the super chat. Next thing you know, I see that somebody submitted $1. I was like, "Oh snap! I got $1." So then I thanked the person, and then I kept talking, going on with my topic, and then there was another donation. This time it was $2, and then another $1, another $1. Then the next thing it was $5, and then it was $14. And then it was $15. I said, what's going on? I said, I can't believe it. People, you know, and half of these people were atheists. Some of these people were atheists, you know, disagree with me, but you know, they submitted a monetary donation.
Yeah, back in the day, Alex Biden would even donate, or you'll get like a Fiona giving $1 or something like that. They become so demonic now. These people become so evil now and so greedy and self-centered. They don't even want to give you a quarter.
Well, they voted. Well, what happened? I think part of what happened, G-Man, is they voted their way into poverty. So now they don't have the money to give anymore. Good job, liberal, destroying the economy. Good job, idiots.
Right. That's that. Yeah. All
Go
because
pay for someone's gas. Go pay for someone's gas because you're the reason why gas is $6.99 a gallon now. So go pay for someone's
G-Man,
gas.
don't get mad at me when I say this, but there was one time I gave $2 to the shirtless oncologist.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
No, you didn't.
I did.
Oh man,
but I was bored to tears that day, and I was like, and you said something about him without saying his name. So I was just like, well, I'm kind of curious to see what he's doing on his channel now. I said, sure enough, he's talking about Shanny and Rev, right? And I submitted like a $2 donation in a super chat on a side chat, and just told him, hey, here's $2 for a shirt, or something like that. You know, and that was, and you know, he took a jab at me too, and it was all good. But see, I'm just using that as an example of how, in my opinion, under capitalism, people are more encouraged to give freely to other people, as opposed to communism. If you have this totalitarian government that's going to force you to, you know, give to another person or another entity, you know, I think that lowers people's incentive to give freely when you're forced to give. You know what I mean? And so when going back to Acts chapter 2, verses 44 and 45, again, as you pointed out, G-Man, the reason why those Christians were freely giving is because they were given the breath of life. They were given life eternal. They were given a transformative a heart of flesh, rather than a heart of stone. And they gave willfully to those who need it, not because they were forced. Freely
we have been given. Freely we should also give. And that's our battle cry. The battle cry of the communists is, we're gonna make you give. Ridiculous. They can't even do it freely right now. I got a cash app there, right there. All they got to do is just take all of their wealth and give it to me. I mean, if they're so interested in being so poor and being a slave, you know what I mean, and giving up their manhood and their womanhood or whatever, just donate to me. Simple as that.
Yeah, like Oprah, you get a car.
yeah, right, yeah. That's
Oprah writing all that stuff on taxes.
Oprah Care, that's Oprah Care. You get a car.
Oprah Care, right?
That's Medicare for all. You get a car.
Right? Could you imagine how much money you would lose as a car company if the government made you give away free cars against your will?
So you basically, everyone's receiving benefits that no one pays for. That's
Right.
that's
They don't work for you.
how long is that gonna last?
They bring nothing to the table, but yet you're the one who's got to give them free stuff. You know what I mean? And you know, even on a smaller scale, you know, you got these illegal immigrants coming in. You know, of course, if these corporate entities could charge, you know, could pay them like $10 less than what they're paying Americans already. You know,
They're gonna be the ones to get the Medicare for all. It's really Medicare for Mexicans. That's what it should be called.
You know, would I be wrong for calling atheists that support communism lazy? Would I be wrong for saying that? Like they don't want to actually get off their butts and actually go to work no more? Like, would that be mean if I said that?
Right. No, it wouldn't.
I mean, they're not capitalists. They want everybody just to give what they got to them, you know, without having to actually work or do anything for themselves or anything like that. You know, it sounds like these people are extremely lazy.
I sincerely think that you have two groups of people. You have the lazy people who are really just lazy and apathetic. But then on the other side, you just have people who are just really ignorant. They're not lazy, but they're just extremely ignorant. And they're evil. You know, maybe some of them are just evil. They're hypocrites. You know, they know full well that, you know, just I think it was you or Jill brought it up, rules for thee, but not for me. If you're that evil, you have no problem contradicting yourself.
Carrie said that they're entitled.
Lazy, entitled. Yes.
Lazy and entitled. Yep.
And I hate to say this, G man, but this is an attitude that's plaguing the Black and Hispanic communities right now, mostly the Black community right now. And I can say that for two reasons. Number one, because it's a fact. We can prove it by statistics. I mean, you just look at the Asian community. I mean, they're at the top of the food chain, economically speaking, right now. Okay. And number three, because I'm a Black man. I mean, number two, because I'm a Black man. So I've seen it. I've seen how, unfortunately, Black people are not everyone, but, you know, statistics, you know, showing that Black people are unfortunately programmed to have this victim mentality.
I'm not going to get mad about that. That's the truth.
Yeah,
At all.
That's the truth. Why would I get mad about that? I think you think I'm GP or something. I want to get mad at that. Yeah. It's the truth.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be sensitive to some of the lefties here, but it's the truth. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, except for the only way I can sugarcoat it is by my tone, the tone of my voice. But that's it. I'm not gonna say anything else to get away from the truth.
Michael, did you hear about the Sesame Place? Incident. They found out that the guy in the costume, the guy in the Sesame Street costume, they found out he was Black.
Oh wait. Then
no,
Jill.
I'm just kidding. I don't know that.
Oh, okay.
But that's my Babylon B.
Okay, Babylon B.
Headline of the day. Yeah.
I was going to say that would have made him an Uncle Tom then, right? Because he only shake white folks' hands, right?
Security monitor lizard, you wanted to come in here and have a conversation. The last 4 people from your community that tried to come in here came in here with the intention on porn bombing me. So I didn't block you. I'm just not that interested in letting you guys come in here no more, because you're not a person that's got a reputation of being serious, security monitor lizard. That's what happens when you troll every day and you don't be serious. Your reputation gets destroyed. And I don't take you seriously, security monitor lizard. When you do one show, just one, on a serious topic, contact me and I'll look at it.
And open up the room too. Post a link. Stop being scaredy cats, atheists. What happened to you?
You know, a lot of them just want echo chambers. A lot of these atheists just want nothing but echo chambers. That's all they want.
When they had the 4 horsemen, the Dennets, the Dawkins, the who was the other 2? You know, the 4 Richard Dawkins. Yeah, when they had those guys, barking on the internet, they were bold and, you know, they were ready to come challenge us. Now that those guys have gone away, Hitchens has died. Rest in hell, Hitch. Now that those guys have gone away, it's like their mojo is gone. They don't have the fortitude.
There's somebody in the background but I can tell that's a still because the person's face is doing the exact same thing. Hey, Mikey, why don't you smile for me? Mikey. You see what he's doing there? I don't know if you guys can see him or not.
No, we can't see him.
But it's a still. It's a still. That's a fake.
We can't see.
Yeah, I'm watching it. He's doing the same thing.
If you screen share, we can see.
No, I can't screen share.
Then everybody else can see it. Yeah, everybody else.
No. This is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. He's constantly doing the same thing. Like this. Like he's not changing his appearance.
It's a GIF. It's an animated GIF. That's what it is.
Yeah. So he wanted to come here and just support on me.
Wow, they're getting smart. They getting genius.
Putting stills up.
The G-Man is so stupid. He gonna think this is a real video.
They put a video up that was in the loop. G-Man, they get high tech. Y'all getting high tech. Why don't y'all come get into the debate arena? Why are y'all so scared? Oh, they see their new leaders, the Aaron Ross. These guys are Matt Dillahunty. They're just not cutting it, I guess.
No, Aaron Ross taught them a principle. Aaron Ross said that they only debate their equals. All others they teach. This is what they said. So Matt Dillahunty doesn't know the Bible. Nope. None of the people that follow him know the Bible. So the way I look at it is like this: we should make them beg us to debate them when it comes to the Bible from now on, since they know diddly squat about it. You know what I mean? If they're gonna have that attitude, Matt Dillahunty's a sissy. Aaron Ross a sissy, and all the new leaders they got is a bunch of sissies. They're weak. Because if they were strong, they would encourage these people to come in here and defend their worldview, and they don't want to because they don't know anything. I mean, some of them got college degrees and they can't even defend it. That's sad, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's funny too. The most competent opposers to the Bible that try to resort to the Bible, try to point out contradictions, are just they're easily debunked by guys like you and I. I mean, because we studied the Bible, we know the scriptures, and I find it kind of funny. And actually, there's a part of me that finds it a little bit adorable that you got some of these atheists try to come up with you. They try to say, "Yeah, G-Man. Well, what about Genesis 1 and Genesis 2?" The same old arguments that we hear all the time. Now, what's another familiar argument we hear all the time? Alleged contradiction. What about the different colored robes in the different gospels? One gospel says it's scarlet, the other one says it's purple, or that kind of thing.
Contradiction.
Yeah.
Scarlet.
How many? Yeah, we hear this so many times. I mean, these arguments are so regurgitated that I just find it nothing but adorable when I have one of these new atheists come to me with these arguments, as if I've never heard these before.
How many angels are at the tomb?
How many? Yeah. Oh, how did Judas die? Did he die from jumping off a cliff, or did he die for hanging himself? How many times?
I was going to do a video this Sunday actually on contradictions, but I rescheduled it. And I was going to do a video this week.
Hey, Joe, this is the perfect time to do it because they're too focused on drama and they're too focused on entertainment. They're drunk on entertainment. This is the time now to absolutely destroy all of their arguments because those cowards ain't coming in here. They're not going to do it. And Monitor Lizard, go on your channel, Monitor Lizard, do it live and call us out. We're not you guys. Okay, advertising. Make sure we all know about it.
That's a good idea.
And we're glad to come over there and beat you up. No problem.
That's a really good idea. If these people are genuine, they genuinely want to have a discussion, I think that they would make an extra effort in doing so. And one of the things that they could do is exactly that, G-Man, what you just said. Go to their own channel and do like a real quick live, letting us know that you're interested in having a discussion, that you're not a troll, and then post a link either to your channel, or you can say, hey, it's me. I really want to have a conversation, so let me back into the room.
Now, there's two channels that I recommend we don't go on. There are two of them. Three of them. Then these people are jokes. They don't listen to me unless you can find a video where they had a serious conversation. I'll change my mind. Miss Parker's one of them. You go on her YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. The woman's got some really alien from outer space ideas, and I've never seen her with it. Yeah, I've never seen her talk about anything serious. Then there's the Geek Room. Be prepared to be racist. You know what I mean? They're going to be directly racist towards you.
They still doing stuff, the Geek Room?
Yep. And guess what they're talking about? And guess what they're talking about? Every single day. See again. They only got one topic on YouTube and only one topic on YouTube. You know what it is?
Shani and Rev.
Shani and Rev. Every single day saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Looking at videos that happened back in 1948 as if we actually care. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, man. Let's talk about something else. Invite me in your room. I'm feeling giddy. Let's talk about some biology.
But G-Man, that's a plus for us though, because again, it just further validates what I've been saying what I've always said, and will continue to say, as long as they keep validating it, that it proves the utter futility of atheism. They have nothing beneficial to bring to society. Absolutely nothing except for amusement. That's it. Amusement. Means without or the negation of something, and muse is to think or to create. So they produce non-thinking stuff. They produce stuff that does not provoke or incite any type of thinking. You learn nothing from these people.
Beckel, there's this certain black guy on YouTube that wears his white coat and wears glasses that couldn't even hang with me on biology anymore.
Yeah,
that's how bad it is.
That's.
Couldn't even hang with me on biology.
Yeah, remember how excited you and I got when we heard that he was going to debate true empiricism. We were like, oh snap! After all these years, it's going to happen, baby. It's about to happen.
And then he said, I thought about it. I don't think I want to debate him because he might beat me up.
That's what happened.
He didn't. G-Man, you got to be fair.
He bailed out.
You got to be fair. He didn't finish college, so you got to wait for him to finish.
No, yeah, we got to wait for that. Yeah, and then maybe he'll figure out what a cell is. Yeah.
Once he finishes his undergrad, and then he'll be ready, G-Man. But these atheists.
But it's been 10 years.
For that cure of cancer.
He's on a special. Yeah, he's on a special program.
I'm still waiting for that cure to cancer. And
he's on a 10-year plan.
Oh, man.
Still waiting for that cure to cancer. I don't know, man. Maybe talking about Shani and Rev would help him find.
His aid didn't run out yet. But
all of us could beat him in biology, and we know it. But anyway, so Ginger says, G-Man, why are you scared of letting people who disagree with you want to have a discussion with you on live streams? Hey, Ginger, advertise it a week from now. I'll come to your YouTube channel. We can talk about any great debate topic you want on your channel, and you can disagree with me. I don't have a problem with that. Just remember this: by the time I leave that room, you're gonna get oh, by the way, Beckel, I got your message. We're gonna have a lot of fun with our friends Todd.
Yeah, man.
And with Lubis. We're gonna have a lot of fun with them.
I'm a terrible. I'm not a great rapper, man. But I.
Y'all heard that rap that Todd did?
If you give me a week, I could come up with some cool lines.
Was that Todd? G-Man, that was Todd.
That was Todd.
That's Todd with that big old fat tuba.
Oh God! Yeah, they always
was the one doing
in middle school. They always let the fat kid play the tuba.
And you know what the funny thing is? They made it too easy for me because now Lubis was like he was gonna call me the N-word, but then stopped in the middle of his rap. I said, "Okay, I got something for you, man. I know plenty of Spanish jokes, so I got something, and I know how to say them in Spanish too." Oh, and by the way, if you guys want to see something funny, something really funny about Lubis, go to his YouTube channel, right? He used to do like these boxing thingies on his channel or whatever, teaching people how to punch on the bag or whatever. Go look at that and look at his viewership, and then look at what happened when he started talking about me. His views are actually going down. He's losing his audience talking about me when he was like getting $4,000 views talking about boxing.
Most of his views Most of his views were from Brazil.
You know, they ain't got internet over there.
Most of his views were from Cubans.
Dang, that's bad.
He had titles that are in Spanish.
Who was that? That his family?
Lopez.
The only people subscribe
titles of streams in Spanish.
Wait a minute. So the only people subscribe to his channel is his family?
Basically.
His Cuban.
And it's that Chihuahua.
Dang.
And it's that Chihuahua.
When I hear
I'm gonna destroy this guy, yo. I'm gonna call him Pepe Le Pew. I'm gonna call him alive. I'm gonna destroy this dude.
I don't know what it is about Todd. When I hear him rap, he just reminds me of some Saturday morning kids cartoon.
Yeah, in the 1980s on top of that, right?
Exactly, right? Yeah, something from 1980s, Schoolhouse Rock or something like that.
But I gotta give Todd credit. At least he tried. Now Todd's gotta rest in peace now, because I'm on the real. I'm gonna slap that dude so hard. His great ancestors are gonna feel it. Mark my words.
G-Man, if we're gonna collaborate, we gotta agree on a particular beat. So,
okay.
Yeah, because
do you want to use something generic, or do you want to use one of these free beats on YouTube?
Man. It has to be something. It has to be. I don't know. We're just here with, because I don't
know I'm doing something different, because I know how to do green screens now. Reckle, I actually know how to put the video movement behind me now in my video. Right. So this next rap I'm gonna do is gonna be totally different.
Yeah. By the way, word of advice. That green screen, is that the green screen you're planning on using?
No. I don't need a green screen no more. I'm beyond that. I spent some money, man. I don't need a green screen no more.
Yeah,
I can have traffic up and back of me. It don't make a difference.
Right. Yeah,
I learned about that chroma key.
Right. Yeah, technology's upgraded now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely down for that, man. Because he mentioned me in that rhyme. So, all right, I gotta get in on that. So,
you know what we should do?
He had a tuba.
You know what? Cherry was telling me that that Jada producer, the professional in our community, is kind of bugging out with his doctrine and everything and whatnot. But if I can get him to just if I can get Jada producer to help us a little bit with this, oh my God! But then again, I don't want to put that much effort into Lubis and like I put that effort into Billy the Fridge, but Lubis and this buffoon, no, I'm not gonna do all that now.
And G-Man, and plus also, I told you I'm not a rapper, man. It's gonna take me a while to come up with some nice, you guys are better rappers than I am, man. It's gonna take me a while to come up with some nifty,
I wrote up a couple of things about Lubis. It was kind of corny, so I'm trying to fix it up a little bit. And then I said some things about Todd that was a bit extreme, and I can't say on YouTube because I'm a Christian and everything. Because Todd got me mad. Todd got me mad. So I was like, I said, okay, I can't say this because if I do, I'm going to be called a hope. So I got to because if I wasn't a Christian, I would go full Tupac on his behind. You just don't know. I'll go full Tupac on that guy, yo. And I'm not even playing.
Tupac.
I would go either Tupac or
then you have to grab video clips from his YouTube channel.
NWA. I would go full NWA on them. I'll put it to you that way.
Taking it way back.
Yeah. Put him in his place.
Straight out of Canada.
What if we called our rap battle against against Todd and Lubis, and because one of the things I wanted to try to say was that Todd was stroking his Lubis. I was trying to think about this. That Todd was stroking because he's calling himself the Lubis. He set himself up for that. Oh, and I can say Todd going around stroking his Lubis and pouring out cream. You know what I mean? We'll see. I mean, I'm gonna destroy those two though.
You see how you feel.
I'm not being nice. I'm tired of being nice to these people on the internet. In fact, you gotta hold me accountable, man, because you're gonna be like, you can't say that, G. You can't say that.
Yeah, it'll take for us to. What we'll do is we'll have to come up with our own lyrics individually, and then we'll have a meeting and say, hey, this is what I want to say, and then you'll say, nah, Veko, you can't say that, whatever. And then I'll go back and change it, and then we'll have another meeting where we share each other's changes, and then okay, that's good, and then we'll record everything.
Do you agree that Eve Real was my greatest rival with the whole rap battle thingy and whatnot? I still think Eve was. Billy the Fridge.
Yeah. To be honest with you, Eve Real. Yeah, she was something.
Eve had else. That rhythm.
She had the rhythm. Yeah.
Eve was a pain in the butt to rap against, but I got her when I told her, what did I tell her? I told her to get in the kitchen and bake me some bread. I said, I didn't stutter. That's what I said. Now get in the kitchen and bake me some bread. The whole community wanted to rip me apart because they were saying I was being sexist when I said that. But then they ignore everything that she said about me and you. You know?
Right. I wonder how she's doing. I haven't heard from her in a long time.
I
know she blocked me. She blocked me on Facebook. So, but
yeah, she's getting serious about stuff, man. I'm happy about that, though. I don't mind her doing that as long as she's taking it serious and everything and whatnot. Like if she was going back into that nonsense that she was doing with that full preterism, I would have a problem with it. But As long as she's being serious with her faith, I don't
She's
care.
flat Earth now, right? She's like into flat Earth now.
I don't
right?
even know if she believes that anymore, to be perfectly honest.
And
If
it's
she
been a
does,
few
she's
years
quiet
since
about it.
then.
Rand does. Rand talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going to the Dominican Republic to meet him.
Is he still there?
Yeah, from what I understand, yeah.
I know. Lately, I've heard that he's no longer with the woman that he married.
Yeah. They broke up.
Which is kind of sad, man, because she was a gorgeous woman and very nice too. She was very nice.
Yeah, Rand a player, man. Because even before her, I heard some of the girls that he was thinking about dating on YouTube. Like Rand's a player, man. Rand got game. Don't listen to these atheists. Rand got game, man.
Right.
Rand got game. Okay, did you know that Negs and DC Media Girl are a couple now?
Oh, really?
I don't know if you know who they are, but Negs and DC Media Girl are.
I've heard of DC Media Girl. I've heard of her. Yeah, and Negs, I've heard of him too.
Yeah. I finally got to talk to her on Twitch. I went on Twitch and I had a conversation with Negs and DC Media Girl. And now we all get along because we got the same enemies now. So I keep telling people you can't befriend these people because they'll turn against you.
So they're both atheists?
Negs doesn't identify as being an atheist. I think he believes that God exists, but he doesn't know which one. DC Media Girl, I think, might be agnostic. I think.
And let me guess, she's also still making videos about Shani and Rev.
No, not really. I told you they got the same enemies now.
Oh, okay.
They got the same. Listen to me. The people that are using Shani and Rev are trying to build their YouTube channels at this point. And did you see the video I did yesterday when I was talking about the worst people on YouTube about how they're stealing? I found this YouTube channel on here. It's called XX Archive, and it's another channel. Yo, they got all three of her channels that got flagged down. Every video that woman ever made is on that channel. Oh, unedited, they stole everything.
Oh,
they stole everything. So I got on here and I decided to make a YouTube video, and I was like, you guys claim that you're good people, but you're thieves. And they keep saying that, like, I stole $3,000 out of a safe and whatnot, but then they ignore the fact that they themselves are going around stealing other people's intellectual property. And then instead of them saying, trying to justify or trying to, they say, well, what you going to do about it? Which shows their admission of guilt that they've done it. They're not going to stop doing it. In other words, they believe that they still believe that they're good people while being thieves. It's hilarious how these people have taken that mask off. Remember back in the great debates, the great debate days of Beckel, they would have never allowed us to call them a liar, right? Or to call them thieves, right? They used to get so offended they used to start streams, and they used to be like, "Okay, G-man, come here. How dare you call me a thief?" Now they don't care, and that goes to show that they were acting back then. What do y'all think? What do y'all think?
The G Plus days, I probably was just stepping on the scene around.
Yeah, in the G Plus days, those guys were playing. They were acting. They were pretending like they cared about people. They ain't give a hoot, and then they're showing it now.
Are those people?
And I'm gonna ram this truth down their throats. I'm gonna ram it down their throats.
Old videos, and I would see 20 and 30 people in there. Where did all those people go? When it's time for them to debate me, all of a sudden they disappear.
Some of them converted to Christianity. Some of them became religious, and then some of them left. And some of them gave up and realized they can't hang with us. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. So you got rid of all the fun, G-man.
It ain't just me. It was Bible thumping. We know a whole bunch of other people that did it. They wasn't winning that battle. I'll tell you that straight up. They wasn't winning that. I was doing shows almost every day.
Now I don't have anybody to debate because of you, G-man. Because of you, Vecco. Now I can't get a debate. You know what? I've been so desperate for a debate. I had to go debate a Hebrew Israelite.
And they're getting scared now too.
His name is Sakari.
Oh, you debated a member of Sakari?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like he's desperate too. Because the camps don't usually go in nobody's room.
On Sunday, I'm upload it then instead of going live.
Hey, Joe, one day we got to meet. I met Vecco in New York. We're probably going to meet again on Thanksgiving, but one day we got to get together and meet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one day we can do a little reunion over there in New York. I can get Evangelist Ken. Maybe we can get a few other people. I know one cool atheist I think you'll get along with. His name is Psychopath Atheist. He lives over there in Newark, New Jersey. I could probably get him to come over there to meet you. Jungle Jargon used to live in North, but he moved.
I've spoken to him. Yeah, he doesn't. We don't get along.
You and Jungle Jargon?
No, not Jungle. Yeah, I like Jungle. Yeah,
Psychopath
cool.
Atheist?
Yeah, I think I spoke to him on a couple of times in the chat, maybe.
I met him. He was mad cool. We were talking about the Black Panthers. We were talking about like
Oh yeah, and I'm sure in person. I'm sure it's a lot different than on the internet where you have the.
Oh, they're very respectful. Like even the leader of this moronic reaction community. Trust me, they know their roles and they know what to say when not to say in person. And I proved that over and over and over again. I said, "Yeah, meet me. Don't disrespect me to my face. I'm warning you."
We'll just call him from now on. We'll just call him Doctor Who. Doctor Who.
So you wear that white coat. Hey, I'm going to college.
Doctor Who. Hey, Doctor Who.
College. Yeah.
But I'm going to uploading that.
Look at me, guys. I qualify for financial aid. I'm going to college. And now I'm drinking milk. And as I drink milk, my bones are getting stronger. I'm better than everybody. Go. Shut up.
Your FAFSA ran out year 5. That's when FAFSA runs out. You don't get to keep doing that. Oh, yeah. I had a friend
If I ever see these people again in public again, I am going to do my very best. As a matter of fact, I ain't got to do my best. Half my best will be enough. I'm going to humiliate these people in public if I ever see them again. And when I say humiliate them, the cops are coming. That's all I got to say. Straight up. It's embarrassing them time if I ever see them again. They talk too much smack on this YouTube stuff. I mean, man, I'm going to straight up embarrass them if I see them. And I feel liberated now because I have all the power now when it comes to them. Back then I have Jack. Now I got, oh, Lord, you guys just don't know.
I got the power.
I just don't know.
Movie guy says that a Christian can do things and it's okay. An unbeliever isn't okay. So what is he saying? What is he saying? I don't get it. A Christian can do things and it's okay. So when an unbeliever can do things and it isn't okay, that doesn't make any sense. Does that make any sense to you, G-Man?
Hey, Jill, if you want them to debate you and talk to you, you got to do something to become a lost cow. That's one thing I'm noticing. If you become a lost cow, everybody and their mama are gonna want you to come on their channel and debate you. Become a lost cow. Yeah.
What's that?
A lost cow is when they think everything you do is funny, and they just make fun of you all day. Every channel under their belt.
Oh yeah. They
become a low cow.
Yeah, you mean, yeah. I mean, I can get them to debate me, but only once. And then once I crush them, they never come back. So that's why
didn't you debate Miss Parker?
No.
Yeah, because she's a woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking about your philosophy, man, about like wasting my time talking to these females on here because in terms of debating and whatnot. And because I think a lot of them are just too emotional and a colossal waste of my energy. And I'm only going to debate the men. I don't think I'm wasting my time with the women. Honestly, in my opinion, I think a lot of them need to just get their butts back in the kitchen and shut up. That's what I think. I think a lot of them need to get back in the kitchen and just shut up.
G-Man, you're finished. This is your last day on this channel.
No, but that's how I feel sometimes when I listen to them talk. I'm like, shut up and get in the kitchen. Like, honestly, my goodness, I'm hungry. You know? Shut up. Go mop the floor or something. My God.
Oh, my God.
That's what you're here for.
Grilled cheese sandwich or something.
That's right. When I think about Miss Parker, I'm thinking, Miss Parker, why are you making YouTube videos? Like, honestly, I think your man's laundry needs to be done. Why don't you go do his laundry? That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? That's how I look at her. Miss Parker's an idiot to me, man. She needs to go do her man laundry. That's what she needs to go do. You know?
Doing 10-hour streams.
And I'm gonna tell you something, Joe, because I know you're in the educational system. I'm gonna tell you something, dude. They got one time to force me to refer to somebody as something other than a male or a female. They got one time. I'm like, okay, there's a him, there's a she, and then there's a it. Which one do you want me to refer to him as? Because I'll go on national TV and be like,
That's something I've been meaning to ask Jill for the longest time. Now, Jill, you're in the education department. Are you seeing any of that stuff in your neck of the woods?
Oh, sure. They, as a matter of fact, in every meeting or in some meetings, when they put certain people in charge of certain meetings, they'll go around the room and ask everybody to give their pronouns. So every time they come, they'll say, give your pronoun and then tell us your favorite food. So, when it gets around to me, right, in this little round robin liberal nonsense ball of mess, circle of death. And when it comes around to me, I always just say, they say, well, what's your pronouns? And I'll say spaghetti. I just won't even
say
answer.
That really?
Yeah, I'll just tell my favorite food. I won't even give the pronouns.
Yeah, pull a Gina Carano, say bibbidi bobbidi.
I'll just say spaghetti, and then that'll be it. And then everybody will look, or you'll see people's faces cringe up, like he didn't get his pronouns.
movie guy one review says, and I'm gonna do this on purpose because, like I said, I think we've been pulling them all night. We might as well pull them on this too. They said seriously, these three seem to be okay with whatever things this Shannon has done. So there it is. Now, I'm going to speak on behalf of Veckel here real quick, since I know Veckel's opinion on this. Okay? Veckel does not approve of the things that Shanny has done on YouTube. Veckel has other strong opinions concerning Shanny, and he has made it known on his YouTube channel, on my channel, and other channels. Okay? So let's put that out there first. Jill, I have no idea how you feel about them. Me personally, all I'm doing is practicing Matthew 25. That's it. Matthew 25 says that if they're hungry, feed them. If they're thirsty, give them something to drink. You know what I mean? No. I got that one wrong. My bad. That's a totally different scripture. that if they if I see somebody hungry, feed them. If I see somebody thirsty, give them something to drink. If they need clothes, give them clothing to wear. You know what I mean? Because if I'm doing that to them, it's like I'm doing it unto Christ. You know what I mean? And if I don't do that, I might be referred to as a goat. I believe Matthew 25 has got some of the scariest scripture in the entire Bible, including the book of Revelation. So I don't think there's anything wrong with feeding hungry people. I don't think there's anything wrong with buying clothes to people who don't got clothes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with helping somebody have somewhere to live. The very fact that these fake communists, I'm glad we're on this topic, that these fake communists have a problem with helping somebody less fortunate shows what's really going on in their heart.
Yeah, so we don't need your Obamacare to take care of people. Christians are your Obamacare. We've always been Obamacare. We don't need your broken systems that don't work, that destroy people's lives, destroy industries. We don't need that. We have.
Now that I got you guys in this room, how do y'all feel about them bringing up videos from 1942? Could y'all just do me a favor and just publicly let them know about how you guys feel about them bringing up videos from 1942?
Why do you
videos they're talking about?
Like what context? Like what videos about
for example,
exactly?
They're still reviewing videos of stuff that Shanny said back in back on the Great Debate days. They're like, we already addressed this stuff. Like, honestly, come on, grow up.
Well, first, let me just reiterate once again. That it just displays the utter futility of their worldview. They have nothing else better to do. If I was an atheist, I wouldn't be coming to a Christian channel listening to what Christians are saying. So I'd go find something else to do. But they're here.
I'll be playing my game.
That's what I'll be doing. Watching movies, playing my game. I'll be out in the club. It's Friday.
Fornicating. I'll be doing orgies. Because I think God exists, I'll be living my life.
Yeah, exactly. But yet they keep coming here. Yeah, and that's a good thing. It's good for us because we mostly want to educate and also entertain at the same time. So when these people bring up this stuff that's mad old at 12 years, 14 years old, I mean, for what? I mean, half of that stuff has already been squashed and dealt with already, and they just trying to resurrect some of this old stuff so they have some sort of relevance in their life.
That's right. I mean, God forbid somebody actually proves evolution is true. God forbid somebody actually goes out there and prove that atheism is valid. God forbid somebody actually goes out there and prove that these people are smart. God forbid somebody actually goes out there and prove that communism is actually a good political system. They're more interested in Shanny's underwear than they are what's going on in their own personal lives. You know what I mean? It's pathetic. It's sad. It's really pathetic.
Have food on my mouth when you
I
said that.
got a lot more things on my mind than what color underwear somebody's wearing. These people need to get a life.
Yeah, man. That they the shirtless oncologists got people out there spying on them and stuff.
And yeah, I mean, they ain't got nothing better than doing their own lives. What they should do is deal with their alcoholism, their diabetes. What they need to do is deal with their the fact that they can't lose any weight and that these people are seriously overweight and need to go to a gym. What they need to do is go out there and find a job for themselves. What they need to do is get their spouses to stop beating them up every day. They got that, and we know that they got problems like this. You know what I mean? There is no sin that is not common to man. You know what I mean? And then walking around and acting like there's nothing going on in their lives, like we believe that. They need to cut that mess out. You know, like honestly, nobody cares.
That's right.
I care about solutions. Solutions. I don't care about, hey, did you hear the latest gossip? I can promise you this.
G-Man, even if they do something moral, like maybe make some sort of donation to help somebody out financially, or maybe they'll come up with some sort of advice that could possibly help Shani and Rev. I mean, they're really ultimately only doing these things for their own glory, so they could get a pat on the back. They're not doing it ultimately because they care about the well-being of mankind. They're doing it because they have an allegiance to themselves, so they can receive the praises of men. That's ultimately why these people would do anything good in that sense. So
that's right. That is totally on point. And then you atheists need to hear that. It's like, why do I need to address every little tiny thing that they do? You know what I mean? How about this, Ginger? How about you come in here, cut your camera on. Let's take a look at your home, look in your life, and let's see what you're doing. For all I know, Rev did what he did, and he was stupid for doing it. But for all I know, you're cooking your children in your kitchen in your backyard, and you're probably cannibalizing your cousins. I don't know what the heck I mean, it's like, honestly, like if I wanted to be super nosy, I could find out, Ginger. I mean, trust me, I can really find out. You know? Knowing you probably going out there barbecuing your cousins. I don't know. You know? I'm not an atheist. My brain is bigger than the size of a is bigger than the size of a lima bean. So
that's right. Didn't we used to say atheists eat babies?
Yeah. And that's probably what they're doing too. I'm gonna start going back to that again. I'm gonna say, yeah, atheists eating babies. They're just trying to cover it up by talking about what happened to poor, some other stuff and whatnot. Come on.
Yeah, baby eating atheist. That's what you are. Oh man.
Have you guys heard from Sabella at all lately?
No. I heard you mention her on one of your streams recently, but and that made me think.
Guess what I found out? Yeah. Now you remember how hardcore Bruce used to be against the atheists and whatnot, right? He used to be like, cuss everybody out and whatnot, right?
Right.
Now Bruce is going to their leader for permission to do certain things, and now he's going over there complaining because he's not being treated fairly amongst other atheists. And I'm like, oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Oh my goodness.
Bruce better never get in no conversation with me again. Bruce, I have no respect for you no more whatsoever, dude. How did you go from destroying these people in debates to going over there kissing their rear ends out? Get the heck out of here. You must be crazy. No, no. Absolutely no. You know? And then Sabella going out there bragging about going to school, acting like she accomplished, I'm going to seminary. Look at me. And I'm sitting there, I even said it in my rap. I said that school is for learning not to boast in your heart, you know. And I said something else I don't want to repeat, but I said that that all she does is brag about going to school. Okay, you're going to school. Congratulations. I don't think people understand that going to school in of itself is not an accomplishment. What are you doing with the education? That's what's impressive. What are you doing with the education? You know? Nobody cares about you going to school. I mean, unless it's a major feat that you're the only person in your entire family that's been there, then congratulations on that milestone. But if you're going to school so you can brag to everybody that you're going to school, you're wasting your time with me, because I don't care. Right or wrong, Beck? Am I being simple for saying that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, shouldn't boast in yourself, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit there boasting about going to school. What does Sabella want? A milk bone or something? You know what I mean? What do you want? A milk bone? Care about you going to school?
He said,
how does that benefit the kingdom of God? You know? Where's Fiona? Yo, is Fiona still alive?
Who went to cemetery?
Oh no, you guys want to see something funny? This is what this is. I played this one time on my channel with Fiona, and I got her to say this, and I'm glad I got it. Let me show you something here. Hold on. Where is it? This time, because she said she would never say it. Yeah, right. I got you saying it. You would never say it's time for preachers to declare ministries. I got Lyrical to say it. I got Fiona to say it. I got a lot of people actually saying it. I just gotta find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. What's the video at? Where is it? I know I ain't deleted. Here it goes. Check this out. This is Fiona.
It's time for preaching to higher ministries. Is that?
Yep. So I got her to say it. Diddy King said it. I got a whole bunch of them saying it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. I'll be right back. Come here.
Yep. So I could be mean and play all of those videos and have them all saying it before I make fun of them. You know what I mean? But anyway, I think we kind of ran out the show. We went off topic enough, I guess. I think we lost the interest of most of the people. They realize that they can't defeat these arguments. You know? Ginger, you should worry about your children, Ginger, if you have any. And if you don't have any, try to make some kids before you talk to me about somebody else's, all right?
Atheists hate women and kids.
Yeah. That's why they have rape fantasies and all this stuff. Ugh. Anyway, I mean, these people are disgusting. That's all I know, man. They're utterly disgusting to me. You know what I mean? And then they walk around here claiming they're good people while going out there destroying everybody. I said, dude, listen, stop it. You ain't no good person.
You destroy the United States economy. How do you destroy the United States economy? The strongest country in probably in the history of the world, and you destroyed it in a matter of a few months.
Atheists are responsible for a lot of hungry people right now because they wanted prices to go up. They wanted gas prices to go up because they wanted to destroy the Constitution. They're responsible for a lot of suffering going on in the country right now. You know, they can't blame religion for that. Can't blame religion for that. They're the ones responsible for this. You know?
Yeah. That's atheism for you.
Ginger wants to know how I sleep at night. Well, Ginger, what I like to do, Ginger, when I sleep is I lay on my back and I have my feet up like this. I put one arm up like this, you know, and I try to breathe through my nose and then exhale throughout my nose too. You know what I mean? And then I try to meditate on things when I'm trying to sleep, Ginger, if you're so interested in learning. You know?
Ginger, who you voted for in the chat. And then we'll ask
she voted for Biden. Come on. Come on. She voted for the guy who left all that military equipment in the middle of the desert.
And then ask yourself
that vote for Kamala Harris.
Ask yourself that same question after you put who you voted for in the chat.
Right now. Come on, guys.
These guys need to go pay for someone's gas. Stop harassing people.
Come on, guys. You gotta vote for the guy who likes to smell children, you know, during this whole administration.
Vote for Biden. Vote for Biden because Biden is gonna do America good. He's gonna raise. As matter of fact, didn't Biden say that he's gonna raise gas prices? He's gonna raise food prices. The economy's gonna suck. People are gonna lose their jobs.
He told these idiots what he was gonna do, and they're so dumb that they still went out and supported him.
You don't know if you want to vote for me or if you want to stay black. You got to vote for me. If you don't want to be black anymore, then vote for Trump. Yeah, that's
hey, Vaco, this is what you got to do, Vaco. This is what you got to do. Tomorrow or on Sunday or whatever, do a Thank God for Atheism show. Let's see how many of them come into your stream.
Yeah,
and if you fill the whole room up, I'll gladly come in there.
I was waiting for Vaughn to show up.
Yeah, Vaughn, I don't know what's going on with this guy, man. He asks to come in these things, then he don't come. I don't know what's going on with him.
Vaughn knows how dangerous it is to get into a biblical discussion with one of us. It's pretty much like
you know I should have invited. Brett in here. Brett would have came. I would have invited Brett King. I'm gonna start inviting him a lot more often to see what happens.
Oh, you want to start a fight, don't you?
I wanna get in trouble. I wanna start a fight. I wanna get in trouble. I wanna start a fight.
Oh yeah. We got to get the great Brett Keeney here, because at least we can get a former atheist in here to speak on their behalf and try to see whether or not he can actually do what they can't do themselves. You know,
Right.
Brett Keeney's a great spokesperson. You know what? Brett Keene should think about debating. Actually, you want to know something? Imagine Brett Keene versus Black Guy TV. Imagine that. That one would be hilarious. But he'd be like,
that would be an interesting video to see.
I watched Black Guy TV try to explain evolution once. That was hilarious. I got to show people that video one day where you try to explain evolution to everybody. That was funny.
Please do.
Oh my goodness, he believes in evolution.
Yeah, Black Guy TV tried to explain evolution to his audience, and his audience was like, "Okay, please don't talk about this no more. You're really bad at this, Black Guy TV."
Yeah, G-Man, do you remember when that dude Carlson wanted to debate you? He was
Alexander Carlson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was talking all that big talking till we had that debate.
Yeah, he's talking all that sugar smack. He did an absolute horrendous job. Terrible.
Yep, acting like a tough guy.
And then he tried to cover it. And then he tried to cover it up when he was getting criticized by his atheist comrades. He tried to cover it up by saying, "Come on, guys, come on, it's G-Man. Come on. It's G-Man."
That mess don't work.
No, it don't work, man.
That don't work.
G-Man, play this clip. I want to show you how dumb their leader is. It's only about 3 seconds.
No, I can't, because there's it can't. Not yet.
Wait,
I'm waiting for the circumstances to be perfect. I'm waiting for the circumstances to be perfect where I'm untouchable. Just wait. Everybody's gonna see me get my revenge once and for all. Finally, you're gonna see.
Well, Joe, put the link in the side chat. I want to see what you're talking about.
Oh no,
do that.
It was just a clip of their president.
No,
saying that he was
a clip of Biden.
Yeah. Saying that
that's your leader. Yeah,
that's the leader. His solution to the gas prices, he says, is to tax the gas companies. He thinks that's going to help the gas prices go down. What an idiot! Let me tax the people who are selling the gas and make them pay more. What do you think their response is going to be? They're going to fire people.
Or
this guy is just a complete idiot. You don't even have to be an economist to figure out how dumb this guy is. I mean,
Nancy Pelosi is possibly getting us in some sort of heat over there with China by visiting Taiwan.
Oh, by the way, are you guys enjoying the summer of G-Man? This was a phenomenal summer of G-Man. Have you guys noticed that?
The summer of G-Man?
Yeah, they promised me a summer of G-Man, and I don't know, man. This summer of G-Man was too good for me, man. I got a lot of sun, went to Dorney Park, got to go to the beach, got to relax, stretch. I mean, this summer of G-Man reeked of awesomeness. You know what I mean?
What is the summer of G-Man? What is it?
The summer of G-Man is supposed to be a summer where I was supposed to suffer, but I suffered so much. I went to Dorney Park. I made really good money this summer, and everything was good. So,
oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, G-Man.
What is Dorney? What is that?
Dorney Park is in Allentown, PA.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a fun place.
Park.
Hey, is my mic messing up?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, it's been doing that all day.
Wait a minute.
Oh, is that Lopez?
Hey, Becca, Lupus is here.
Oh, did you see the last time? Did you see when I tried to go to Lobus's channel?
You're whack.
Did you see what happened when I went into Lobus's channel? Your boy.
No, what happened?
Your
He
boy,
ran?
I wanted to come at him. Your boy, GP. No, he still
He still looks like a girl?
Yeah, he still looks like a girl.
All right, gotcha.
But your boy GP was running interference, protecting Lobus. I was trying to come at Lobus, and he was protecting him, cutting me off, telling Lobus to kick me. Then Lobus finally kicked me from the show. Your boy GP. Lobus, You can run, but you can't hide forever.
Well, he is the lubis. You're supposed to lube it real good, and then you're supposed to, you're supposed to do this. You know what I mean with the lubis. So
You did.
Lubis.
You did.
I'm gonna call you from now on. I'm not gonna call you Lubis, though. I'm gonna call you. That's what I'm gonna call you now. From now on. So what's up? That's what I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him. Hey, Lubis, I saw a video with you not wearing a shirt, dude. You lucky I ain't download that, man. And I ain't feel like doing a quick little 10-second video about you.
Oh, that's
He
the
has
video I was on.
no
That's the
muscle
show I
at
was
all.
on, G-Man.
He has no muscle.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a video with no shirt on, at least have some sort of definition. Like, we need to see
Yeah,
some
he cut.
sort of
I mean, you
cut.
gotta like,
If you're gonna
look
do
like
a
you
show
do
with
something.
no
You know
shirt,
what I'm saying? He looks like he can box though. But Lucas looks like he knows how to box.
in Spain.
In Spain.
Still. He's fighting those Brazilians. That's why you think he's so tough.
Yeah. No. He's fighting Brazilian women. He's not even fighting the men. He's fighting the women.
He's fighting the Amazon women over there. He think he's tough. in the rainforest over there fighting women in the rainforest. Lobis.
Oh man. No, Lubis ain't gonna say nothing. Somebody's sniping this show. That's what it is. That's why my numbers are so somebody's sniping it. But it's all right though, because again, the only way they can grow is with me. They can't grow on their own, and they know it. So that's why I claim their channels as my own. They just don't know it yet. But I've
seen atheists put your name in their title and get 10 views or 10 more viewers than they usually get. And on average, 10 more viewers than they usually
10
get.
more viewers
than they usually would get just by putting your name in their title.
That's right, because they want to hear about that G-Man. Whopping 10 more viewers. I've had the popular ones in the reaction crowd on my channel, and my views went down. They didn't go up. That's how much nobody cares about those guys. It's hilarious. Let me do something here.
And the sad part is, G-Man, they're starting now to take after this leader of their supreme leader, Doctor Who, and they're starting to create reaction channels, basically targeting one Christian, and all of their videos are of that Christian, exactly how he built his channel on you. So they're following after his path. He's creating little minions, little Doctor Who's.
And they're getting like 20 and 30. I've seen the channels. So some of them are getting like 20 views. Some of them are getting like 11 views. Nobody's even watching them.
Yeah, it's
Plus,
not working.
they don't know nothing about saturation. These dummies don't even know that if everybody's talking about the same thing, there's only but so many hours in the day. You can only watch but so many channels. So it doesn't work that way. They got to find new people. You know what I mean? So basically, their leader made all the money, and now they're getting the crumbs.
By the way, his name is Carlton, and he's a coward.
Yeah,
he's black too. He's a black guy. Yeah. yeah. That's Carlton. This one is worse than. Danny
and Rev are easy targets. What I want them to do is to come on my channel and start calling me a whale and calling me all that stuff and whatnot. And watch how fast they get their feelings hurt. I'm like, wait a minute, what did you call me? Wait a minute. The last time you stepped on the scale, didn't it say 400? When I stepped on the scale, please don't even go there with me. The heck out of here. Call me no whale.
400.
Jill, didn't you debate that Carlton dude?
Yeah, he's scared of me now. He doesn't want to debate me again. Yeah, I embarrassed him in front of his friends, and now he's, running and hiding. He created a channel of D-Roy, all D-Roy videos. All his videos are D-Roy response videos. Every single one.
Who is D-Roy?
D-Roy is I forgot what he calls himself, but I like D-Roy. He's a cool guy. He's a Christian.
But who is D-Roy? I don't know who he is. Somebody give me a link to his channel. I honestly don't know who that guy is.
I'll put a link to his channel. But he created a channel of all D-Roy videos. It is amazing. I couldn't even talk
This
about
is why I
someone
think
that
they're
came
gay. I mean, think about this. Imagine just talking about
Why
a
they're
guy all the time. That's why I think they're. That's why I think they're a little bit on the. You know, I'm like, I think like taking it in the bucket. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. I think they're taking it in the bucket. I'm telling you.
But what do they have? Like they don't have anything to talk about. Like at least we could talk about the Bible and never talk about them ever again. Like we could take
They have
one
no
book.
idea how true that is. They have
We could
no
take
idea.
we could take one book out of the Bible. We could take the book of Psalms and talk about that for the next year and
Yeah,
never mention
exactly.
an atheist again. They don't have
See?
anything to talk about.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. The futility of atheism. That's what I keep saying.
It's just a worthless religion. All it does is bring forth murder and destruction.
Yep. And their biggest argument against my channel is, gee, man, you're boring. You wait till I start advertising this channel and the other channel, and then they're not watching no more. Then they're going to see what I could have did from day one. They just don't get it yet. I'm trying to get rid of them. They really don't get it. And I'm succeeding. They don't get it. Gee, man, it's reverse psychology. No, it isn't. Wait, watch what I do when you knuckleheads ain't watching no more. I'm talking to the atheists out there. You just watch what I do. I'm going to turn into a Hebrew Israelite channel. You'll see. And I'll get rid of these guys super fast. They just don't know. So anyway, it's 10:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over here. Becco, you got to work tomorrow? Jill, you got to work tomorrow? Testing, 1, 2, 3. You guys there? Hello, 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 hello. You guys there? Hello? Jill, you there? Beckel? Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this show up. I appreciate everybody that was watching. I'll try to set up another stream in the future where I can get, similar topics. I definitely want to revisit this communism thing again and maybe get a little bit more into the economics and then talk about why it would fail if they came to the United States. So I appreciate all the atheists for not clicking the link and trying to come in. Even Security, Monitor Lizard, and Lubis, and Mr. Know-It-All, and who else? Ginger, and Movie Review, and and whoever else is here that I haven't acknowledged. I appreciate all of you acknowledging me, and we'll see you in the next video. All right? Jesus is Lord. So let me get out of here now. Let me see. How do I get out of here? End.